Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Crenshaw Gymnasium on the campus of Randolph-Macon College for tonight's first-round ball games in the 2014 Division III Men's Basketball Championship. The first ball game of tonight's doubleheader features the Pride of Springfield College. They will be the visiting team on the first ball game against the homestanding Eagles of Mary Washington College. My name is Marty Wilson. I'll be the play-by-play announcer for tonight's ballgame. For both ballgames, I'm joined by Mr. Andrew Price, who will be the color commentator for tonight's doubleheader. Good tournament. The Yellow Jackets of Randolph-Macon hosting this doubleheader, but interesting ballgame early on. Springfield College, the Pride of Springfield, coming in with a 20-7 record overall, 10-4 in their conference. They come to us out of the NUMAC conference. They got an at-large bid after losing in the championship ballgame to MIT in the NUMAC tournament. Should be a very good matchup between these two teams. Very similar as you look at them on paper.
Well, you're certainly right about that. And Springfield kind of had to hold their breath on selection Monday as that Pool C bid had to come, and being in the bottom right bracket of it. So they were one of the last teams announced to get in, but excited. Their second consecutive appearance in the NCAA tournament after a loss last year to Ithaca. And I believe their third straight appearance in the NUMAC title game for them. So definitely a team with a bunch of seniors and experience that it's really might pay off from here in this ball game.
I mean, you look at Springfield overall, very rich basketball history. They're 9-24 overall in the NCAA tournament. Their basketball history goes back to 1940, where they actually played in the Division I tournament, lost to Indiana at Butler's Fieldhouse. They're 3-6 in their appearances in the tournament as a D3 school. Comes out of a very good conference. We looked at that. We were talking a little bit earlier today. They played 5 teams during the course of their regular season that made the NCAA tournament. Williams, Babson, MIT, WPI, and Bridgewater State. They went 4-6 against those teams. But 4 teams, much like the ODAC that Randolph-Macon represents, much like the ODAC, they got 4 teams into the tournament this year out of the NUMAC. That was MIT, Babson, Springfield, and WPI. So they showed they could play their way through a pretty difficult schedule.
Right. I mean, the top half of that league is very, very good. The bottom half of the league is maybe not as good talent-wise, but certainly when you have to go up against WPI, we went up there last year. Randolph-Macon did in the NCAA tournament, and MIT has been playing better as of late, and Babson, who Springfield's been able to beat a couple of times this year. Good basketball programs. There are a lot of NCAA experience between them. So certainly have had their marks, had their chances to prove themselves throughout the course of the season. And that's and it's interesting to look across this NCAA tournament. I doubt there are as many teams that have had a chance to play 10 NCAA games against NCAA tournament teams like Springfield has. So they will definitely be battle tested, particularly I think when you compare that to Mary Washington, who has played 3. One against Virginia Wesleyan, which they won in 2 losses to Wesley, who was the regular season Capital Conference champion.
And a very experienced team for Springfield as well. They start 3 seniors and 2 juniors. Balanced scoring, 5 players in double figures. Robbie Burke, a first-team all-NUMAC selection, leads them in about 14 points a game. But they've got 5 guys that are really between 14 and 11 points. So they spread the ball around. A lot of different guys can score.
Well, you're right. And certainly some balance. I think they've got some guys that they've got some size for you inside that can score in the perimeter. They got some guys maybe can come off the bench and shoot some threes and knock it down. So, like I said, a very experienced, a very balanced group. They have had some tendencies to struggle on the offensive end in some of their losses this year. A lot of games down in the 50s and 60s. So sometimes they have shown that they can get in a little bit of a funk. And it'll be interesting to see, with the experience of being in this ball game compared to Mary Washington, which we'll talk about here in a minute too. But having been there last year, having made some runs in the postseason play, these guys have all been here and they've been ready. And this is not a new experience for them here in this ball game.
And when you turn the page and look at the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington, come down. They're only about 45 minutes north of here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. They come in with a 22-5 record overall. Automatic bid as they won the championship game of the Capital Athletic Conference, a very good conference. They beat Christopher Newport 65-48 in that ball game. Their head coach, Rod Wood, a 1985 graduate of Randolph-Macon College. He was our point guard, played on the same team with Jesse Hellier we saw a few moments ago, and Greg Marshall, who's now the head coach at Wichita State. Second all-time appearance in the NCAA tournament for the Eagles, first time since 2003. They're going to start a much smaller lineup. You look at, I had a chance to talk to Rod briefly. He goes, you'll see our guys when we get out there, we're not really imposing. You don't see a lot of size, but they spread the floor and they really shoot it well. And the ball goes through Bradley Reister quite a bit, 6'1 senior. He's averaging 18 points a game. He's one of the top 3-point shooters in the country.
Right, he's third in Division III with 98 made threes and 28th in percentage, about 43.6%. And it's the team, Mary Washington, that scores about 40% of their points from beyond the arc. And I think that there's only been 4 games this year where they have not made at least 8 3-pointers. So they're gonna take their threes, and he's the one Reese they're leading the way. But they've got a lot of guys that can shoot it, and guys like Dejon Daniel that we've seen from East Midnight before. It's got a big wide body that can get into the lane, and Fahrenheit. At the 4 is maybe a little bit undersized, but he can definitely pose some matchup problems, for Springfield as well too.
And you look for Mary Washington; they again are a very senior-laden team. They've got 5 seniors on the roster, 4 of them starting. They look at their stats. They've got about 8 guys that play at least about 11 minutes a ball game, but very heavy minutes for Fahrenheit, Richter, and Johnson. Each of those guys almost at 30. Richter averaged about 35 minutes a ball game. Fahrenheit just under 32 and Johnson under 32. So the rotation not quite as deep, but it's going to be interesting to see if those guys get in foul trouble, maybe their bench gets a little bit shorter.
Right. Well, I think both of these teams are in a situation to where they're not exceptionally deep. Maybe play 8 guys and get a lot of contributions from, on both ends of the floor from their top 3. So that will certainly be a factor in terms of, particularly if down low where Springfield, has got a little bit more size in terms of height. Like I said, Mary Washington's got some wider bodies. They, be able to muscle you around a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how that matchup can goes. And, Springfield had a tough time with some of Hampton-Sydney's more athletic players, and they played them earlier this year. That's one common opponent for both of these teams, as both of them did lose to Hampton-Sydney this year. And but that was the one thing noticed, is that Springfield had a tough time with some of their more athletic players for Sydney. And, Mary Washington's got some guys that can, cause some matchup problems.
Both teams have made their way back to their benches. A little bit of last-minute instruction from their coaches. We should get the national anthem here very shortly, but very nice for NF Macon actually get the chance to host this. I think that you've got a very strong field. It's going to be interesting to see who plays their way through. 2 ball games tonight, 5:30, obviously just about ready to tip it up. The second ball game tonight at 7:30, and then the championship ball game here in Ashland will be 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
Right, just exciting from the Jacket standpoint to be able to host, and I'm sure for Mary Washington that not having to travel all up and down the East Coast to play in the NCAA tournament. They just come, like I said, less than an hour down the road here to Ashland, and for their first appearance in just a little more than 10 years.
And with that, folks, we're going to take a quick time out for the playing of our national anthem. We'll be right back to you for tonight's starting lineups. Back to you in just a moment. That concludes tonight's national anthem. We'll quickly give you the starters for tonight's ball game. First, for the visiting pride of Springfield College, they come to Ashland with a 20-7 record overall, 10-4 in their conference. That was the NUMAC conference. They earned their way into the tournament with an at-large bid. Coached by Mr. Charlie Brock in his 16th season at Springfield. They'll start number 32, Robbie Burke, a 6'5" senior out of Cheshire, Massachusetts. Burke, a first-team All-NUMAC selection, averaging 14 points and 7 rebounds per ball game. Number 24, Sean Martin, a 6'3" senior out of Ringe, New Hampshire, 12 points and 4 rebounds per contest for the Pride. Number 41, Tim Swenson, a 6'7" senior out of Millbury, Massachusetts, 10.5 points and 9.5 rebounds a ball game for the Pride. And number 21, Nick Sinkowitz, a 6'3" junior out of Cranston, Rhode Island, 10 points and 3 rebounds per ball game for the Pride. And number 34, Simon Kilday, a 6'4" junior out of Arlington, Virginia, 6 points and 2 rebounds per ball game for Springfield. For the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington, they come into Ashland with a 22-5 record overall. Won the tournament championship for the Capital Athletic Conference. They're coached by Mr. Rod Wood in his 18th season with the Eagles. His record is 271 and 200, their career record for the Eagles. They'll start number 1, Dylan Fahrenheit, a 6'2 senior out of Westmoreland, Virginia, 13 points and 6 rebounds per contest. 0-0 Dom Mora, a 6-foot senior out of Burke, Virginia, 8 points and 3 rebounds per contest for Mora. Number 3, Bradley Reister, a 6'1 senior out of Richmond, Virginia, 18 points and 4 rebounds per contest. Number 21, DeJuan Daniel, a 6'1 senior out of Fredericksburg, Virginia, 11 points and 3 rebounds per contest. And number 25, Taylor Johnson, a 6'3 junior of Ashburn, Virginia, 14 points, 6 rebounds per ball game for the Eagles. And Andrew, it's going to be interesting, I think, contrast in style as you see the Pride come out. A little bit bigger lineup. It might be a challenge for them as Mary Washington's going to look to try to spread the floor. All the guys that are going to be in uniform tonight on the floor for Mary Washington can all shoot it. As you spread them out, will it be a challenge for some of the bigger guys to guard on the perimeter?
You're right, and that's what I think is going to be interesting to see. I mean, Springfield's a team that I think a little bit slower pace, grinds you down a little bit, blue-collar type. I mean, I think both these teams certainly have that aspect of them, but you're right, Mary Washington a little bit more perimeter-oriented, drive-and-dish type, and it'd just be interesting to see who can win that matchup of the size. Mary Washington, again, going back to the common opponent in between these two teams in Hampton City, did a pretty good job on Kobe Williamson, who Macon fans know is one of the best players that they played against all year, limiting his touches in the post. And so they've shown that they've been able to take away some other teams' bigger players. So it'll be interesting to see how that all works out for them. Springfield, doesn't really turn the ball over a lot. I mean, or doesn't force a lot of turnovers. They're just going to try to really pack it in. And I think you're right. I think they're going to have to. The big guys are going to have to be ready to help on the defensive end, and you have to be able to recover on the 3-point shots. If you guys gets beat.
The Eagles will be the home team in tonight's ball game. The Pride will be the visiting team. And just first time in 10 years that we've had NCAA tournament play here in Crenshaw, so just exciting. Really not completely filled in the gym right now. I'm sure the Yellow Jacket fans are making the way in, but certainly a strong contender for Mary Washington, a school that's really, we mentioned, only about 45 minutes up the road.
Right, and it's almost like a home game for them. I mean, some of the comforts of being at home, I'm sure they're not having to spend the night, just bust down here during the day. Your schedule's not disrupted as much. So, and they play down here. They'll scrimmage Randolph-Macon every year, and they alternate home and away, so some familiarity with being in this gym. So, about as not at home, but maybe the next best thing for the Eagles.
So it looks like it'll be Taylor Johnson for the Eagles who makes his way into the center circle. He'll jump it up. It'll be Tim Swenson, the 6'7 senior of Millbury, Massachusetts, who makes his way in the center circle for the Pride. Just about ready to get it started here. 2014 Men's Division III Basketball Championship underway here from Crenshaw. Ball is up, controlled by Mary Washington, tipped into the backcourt, into the hands of Mora. And ball tipped out of bounds. Mora threw the pass down the right side, get deflected out into the Springfield College bench. It'll stay with Mary Washington, 31 on the shot clock. Mora will inbound from at the end of the Springfield bench. Flashing into the ball, it's number 21. That's Daniel. Daniel with the dribble out high. Swings it right side, pump fake there. Jumper off the glass, no good. Farranet with the first miss of the ball game. Rebound comes down to Swenson.
That's a good move and a good look. Just doesn't really get the kiss to go off the glass for him. But I think Mary Washington, you like getting that shot.
32, Burke, top of the key. Tipped and deflected, controlled by Mary Washington. Taylor Johnson comes away with a steal. Quickly gets it to Mora. Mora down the left side with a dribble. Half-court man-to-man being shown by the Pride. Mora down the lane, flips it opposite, and Daniel finishes the layup. Nice penetration that time by Mora. Daniel with the easy two. And the Eagles will show a press. Working in the backcourt, they swing it to Sinkowitz. Front court 32, that's Burke. Back out it comes to Sinkowitz, swings it left side in the hands of Martin. Down the left wing, 34, that's Kilday. Back to Sinkowitz. Right side now in the hands of Martin. Back to the top of the key to Burke. A near steal, ball deflected in the middle of the court, picked up by the Pride. Right side, they get it in the hands of Martin. Martin top of the key, that's Kilday, misses the three-point shot. Battle for the rebound. They're going to say underneath the foul against the Eagles. Holding foul. Tim Swenson was held as he goes up for the rebound.
Yeah, Kilday doesn't miss any. A little miscommunication there. A wide open look, hits about 40% of his threes. But already Mary Washington, 3-possession defensive end, 3 deflections or steals so far. Very, very active.
Foul goes on Farranet. His first, the team's first. Not a shooting foul. So the Pride inbound from the baseline. 24, Martin with the ball out high. Swings it right side in the hands of Kilday. Back to the top of the key, that's Sinkowitz. Sinkowitz back right side, he'll fire the deep three. That's an air ball, maybe partially blocked. The Eagles come out of there with it. Mora quickly into the front court. Crossing over, flips it opposite, and Daniel gets a bucket. Two penetrating moves by Mora. The easy layup by Daniel. The Eagles quickly into their press.
Yeah, mirror image that time of the last bucket. That time Mora's coming to his left, flipped it over to Daniels on his right side, and good work right there.
Pride clear the timeline, get it to the top of the key to Burke. Now Sinkwich right side, back to Burke, right baseline. He penetrates, nice pump fake, gets Daniel off the floor, misses the first, battle for the rebound, can't get it to go second time. Burke gets it again, and finally stripped out of there by Mary Washington. That was Farranet who came out with it, gets it to Mora, Mora into the front court. Handoff goes to Richter, he'll fire the three, and that's good. Deep three, 2 steps behind the line. First 7 points of the ball game belong to the Eagles.
Right, and play with a lot of confidence right now and a lot of energy, and certainly you can't give him a look like that. You've got to guard him a couple steps out on the perimeter.
Sienkiewicz clears the timeline, feeds it to Martin on the left wing. He looks to penetrate, now draws a double team. Looking for help, and they're going to call a foul. You can see Rod Wood, the coach for the Eagles, looking for a tie-up, a held ball, but the whistle will go against the Eagles. It'll be their team's second. Not a shooting foul, so the Pride will inbound from the baseline. 17:36 to play. The Eagles of Mary Washington with an easy 7-0 lead.
Easy to see where Mary Washington.
And quick inbound to Sinkiewicz off the glass for 2. The Eagles fall asleep in that zone, and Sinkiewicz makes them pay with a short jumper off the glass.
Yeah, caught me off guard too.
Front court, Mora, right side. 25 will fire the three. That's off the back rim. That was Johnson with a miss. Swenson with the rebound. Hands it off to Sinkiewicz in the backcourt. Sinkiewicz clears the timeline. Starts at left side in the hands of Martin. Actually, that's going to be Kilday left side. Top of the key, that's Burke. Gives it up to Sinkiewicz right wing. Back to the top of the key to Martin. 18 on the shot clock. Swenson operating beyond the circle. Swings it left side in the hands of Kilday. 12 on the shot clock. Bounce pass on the baseline. That's Burke. Starts to move to the bucket. Has it stripped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Pride with 8 to shoot. You can see they look to get it in Burke's hands deep in the shot clock. They'll own it from the baseline with 8 on the shot clock. Inbounds. Comes to Burke. Handoff goes back to Sinkiewicz. Brings it to the top of the key. Flips it opposite to Martin. Martin in the corner. That's a jumper away from Kilday. And it gets it to go. 3 out of that deep corner. Simon Kilday knocks it down. And the last 5 points of the ballgame now belong to the Pride. Mora front court. Uses the high ball screen from Daniel. Swings it right side in the hands of Farranet. Farranet looks to penetrate. Kicks it opposite. Richter with a catch. 2 dribbles off the glass. He'll go. That's high off the glass. No good. Ball tipped and controlled by Springfield. Kilday with the rebound. Gets it to Martin. Still working in the backcourt.
A better job cutting off the dribble penetration that time for Springfield.
Top of the key. That's Martin with the dribble. Live working against the half-court man-to-man. Picks up the dribble. Feeds Sinkiewicz left side just inside the left hash. Bounce pass baseline. They find Burke. Burke backs his man down, draws the double team, flips it opposite. Sinkiewicz with a tough catch, gathers it, misses the layup. Swenson with an offensive rebound. He has it stripped into the hands of Daniel. Looked like they might have had a point-blank look. Swenson couldn't handle it. Eagles into the front court. Moore will fire the 3 left side. Side rim no good. Swenson clears the rebound.
That's the second first pass 3 we've seen out of Mary Washington. They like to shoot a lot of them, but those might be a little quick.
Martin down the lane, and he'll get called for the travel. Tried to penetrate, was looking back for Swenson at the top of the key, shuffled the feet. 2 substitutions for the Pride. Looks like it'll be number 33, Larry Peretra, checking into the ball game.
That's immediate timeout or?
Yeah, 15:40 on the clock, 7-5 in favor of the Eagles. It's been a game of runs so far, Andrew. The Eagles opened the ball game with the first 7 points of the ball game. The Pride have answered with the last 5. And pretty evenly contested. You could see early on that maybe the press for the Eagles giving the Pride a little bit of trouble getting the ball up the court, making them use some time off the shot clock. And you're right, on the offensive end, we talked about the Eagles coming in. They're going to shoot a lot of threes, but they've shot a lot of quick threes.
Right. And I think, just to give you an idea, I think they've, against a game in Southern Virginia this year, shot 43 three-pointers in one ball game to give you an idea. But it was interesting from the get-go. I mean, Mary Washington, I think they designed a play off the tip where their guy didn't even jump. Springfield took possession. And you saw Daniel, I think, was kind of come knife through, pick the pocket, get the steal, and go the other way with it. So, they're trying to do some things to get the energies. Like I said, mentioned Coach Wood on the sideline, very animated, getting his guys into it. So that's sort of been the tone so far. Really, they fell asleep on one inbounds play, and then Springfield got a 3 that bounced around and went in for them. But, Mary Washington keeps bringing this defensive energy on. I think that, good things are going to happen for them. They keep getting these deflections and keep making these plays.
Nick McKenna will check in the lineup for the Pride. The other substitution is number 33, Larry Peretra. Into the lineup for the Eagles, number 2, Marcellus Holly will check in at the point. Holly clears the timeline with the left-handed dribble, working against the half-court man-to-man of the Pride. Holly, top of the key, keeps the dribble alive, swings to Reister just on the left wing. Reister with the dribble, back to Holly just inside the right hash, gives it up on the perimeter, that's 25. Johnson, back it goes to Johnson, ball screen set by Daniel. Johnson with the dribble, picks it up, looking for help, feeds it to Farranet. Farranet jumps up down line, left hand off the glass, and that's two. Cut right through the heart of the defense, softly off the glass for two.
That's a nice play. Like you said, right-hander going to his left, finishing with his left, going through the defense. It's a nice play.
Pride break the pressure, get it into the front court. Martin starts it left side in the hands of McKenna. Back it comes to Martin, right side now. They'll feed Kilday. McKenna, right corner, top of the key, that's Svensson. Cross-court pass goes to Martin. Had the three if he wanted it, closed out there by Reister. They'll feed it on the perimeter to Kilday. Back it goes to Martin on the left wing. 7 on the shot clock. Kilday top of the key. He'll fire the three, and that's good. 2 threes in the first half for Kilday now. It's a 9-8 ball game with 14:37 to play. He knocked one down out of the corner, this time top of the key.
Yeah, good confident stroke there, and just like man in his face, just stepped up and knocked it down. The shot clock going down.
Holly to Farranet. Farranet with the dribble, crossing over, works his way down the lane. Floater off the glass. That's no good. Ball tipped out and controlled by the Pride in the hands of Peretra.
That's what you talked about, that mismatch. Farranet playing at the 4, bringing one of their bigs out. I didn't get that one to go, but it certainly causes trouble.
McKenna has it pocket picked, this time by Johnson. Johnson drives the length of the court, misses the driving layup, and a rebounding foul is going to be called on Daniel. After the miss by number 25, Johnson, Daniel trailing the play, uses off arm to shed Peretra. I think that's probably a good call there from where we're sitting.
Yeah, probably the right call, and a tough finish here for Johnson, being ridden the whole way on the dribble, trying to finish his left hand, similar to what Farranet just did, but couldn't get that one to go. And Springfield the chance to, if they score it, take a lead.
3 team fouls now called against the Eagles. No fouls yet against the Pride. 14:03 to play here in the first half. It's a 9-8 ball game with Mary Washington on top. Right side in the hands of McKenna. Top of the key, they'll find Kilday. Over the top, they throw it down low. Nice catch by Swenson, and he'll draw the foul. High-low passing. They started that pass well beyond the top of the key. Great catch in the lane by Swenson, and he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
That's the first time we've really seen Springfield try to lob it in down low.
And Dylan Farranet picks up his second foul for the Eagles.
That's going to be tough for them. He's really been a focal part of their offense in the first 6 minutes of this ball game.
First free throw is good from the left-handed line. That ties the ball game at 9. Substitution for the Eagles, number 5, John Yoxtemer, will checks into the ball game.
Swenson's pretty much a double-double for the Pride. Gets about 10 rebounds a game to go along double figure in points.
Makes both his free throws, and the Pride have their first lead of the ball game. They were down 7-0 to start the ball game, now up 10-9. Mora clears the timeline, working against the half-court man-to-man. Just outside the right hash, high ball screen, top of the key, swings it left side to Johnson. Johnson crossing over, kicks it on the perimeter to Reister. Reister kicks it out on the perimeter to Mora. Mora looks to penetrate, drives through the lane, gets a shot up. He'll draw contact, and he'll shoot 2. A little bit off balance that time. A very difficult shot as he's fading away down the lane, but that'll be the first foul against the Pride, and Mora will go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
And again, Mary Washington continue to have guys on the perimeter and, like I said, keep the spacing there and allow that room for their guys to drive in and try to create and make plays.
Nick McKenna gets whistled for the foul. His first, the team's first. Mora makes the first free throw. Back into the lineup for the Pride, number 21, Nick Sinkowitz, and number 32, Robbie Burke. Also for the Pride, number 22, Quinn McKenna makes his first appearance. Asa Scott, the 6'2 freshman out of Douglas Freeman High School here in Richmond, who's also checked in for the Eagles. Meanwhile, Mora at the free throw line to shoot his second. Second free throw is good. Breaks the tie. Mora will go to the bench. Holly's going to check back in along with DeJuan Daniel. And the Eagles will again set their full court press. Not guarding the ball. They're looking to trap off that first inbound. As you can see, Johnson actually has his back to the inbounder. They'll get it in the hands of McKenna. McKenna clears the timeline with the help of a ball screen. Flips it in the front court to Peretra. Dribble out high. McKenna, right wing. Top of the key, they find Sinkowitz. 3 on the way to the right side, and that's good. Knocked down that time by Nick McKenna. His first three-pointer of the ball game puts his team on top, 13-11, 13:08 to play.
Talk about Mary Washington making threes, but that's the third one of the first half for Springfield.
Holly with a crossover down the lane. It goes jump stop, feeds Daniel on the right baseline. They bring it back out to Reister. He'll reverse the dribble, finds Taylor Johnson on the perimeter. Down low, that's number 5 who misses the short jump shot. That's Yoxtimer, cleared out of there by the Pride. Springfield looks to run. 22 on the run. That's McKenna. Kicks it opposite. Good ball rotation on the perimeter. Nick McKenna misses the 3. Long rebound. They're going to say stepped on the baseline. That's number 33, Peretra, and the ball will belong to the Eagles. Pretty evenly matched so far, Andrew. 13-11, 12-40 to play. Both teams shooting the ball pretty well. Not a whole lot of turnovers in the early going. Holly into the front court. The Pride stay back in their half-court man-to-man. Brings it out right side. Bounce pass will start it to Yoxtimer. Down low, they find Daniel. Daniel out on the perimeter. Reister, his 3 on the way, and that's good. They find him in that corner. Defender can't get there in time. We talked that Reister's one of the best three-point shooters in the country. Puts his team up by 1.
Well, he's only had 2 touches, and he's had 2 3-pointers. I mean, Springfield's done a pretty good job of not letting him get the ball, but when he's got it, he's made the most of it.
Peretra, front court, swings it right side to Sinkowitz. Sinkowitz bounce pass on the baseline, batted out of there by Reister. Last touch by Burke. Good post defense that time by Reister to get a hand around and poke it away, and Burke couldn't save it. It'll be a turnover against the Pride.
Yep, excellent defense, excellent hustle there out of Mary Washington there to create that turnover.
Mora checks back in at the point. His team is up by 1, 14-13, 11:55 to play here in the first half. Mora starts at right side, takes the dribble inside the hash, can't get Reister off the curl. Now it's Daniel top of the key. Swings it left side to Reister, operating the left corner. Back it comes to Daniel. He'll use the dribble and hand it off on the perimeter to Mora. Mora being chased out high by Quinn McKenna. Half-court man-to-man, 8 on the shot clock. Mora crossover, gets down the lane, feeds it opposite, and that's a finish by number 5. That's Yoxtimer down low. Nice feed again by Mora. He's got 3 assists in the early going. Puts his team up by 3.
Yeah, Springfield's, Thomas Mary Washington's had a lot of success, dribble drive, getting in the middle of that paint, and just dumping it off to the guy when their man leaves them.
McKenna feeds Burke. Burke operating at the top of the key. Defending there by number 5, that's Yoxtimer. Underneath, Burke picks up the dribble, has it stripped away, and that'll be a held ball that'll belong to Mary Wash. Burke turned, made his move to the bucket, and we'll have a media timeout real quick, but Mary Wash quick to strip it right out of the hands of Burke. So our second timeout of the first half, 11:02 to play, 16-13 in favor of the Eagles of the University of Mary Washington over the Springfield College Pride. 4 fouls called so far against the Eagles, 1 against the Pride. And as I mentioned turnovers a moment ago, the last 2 times down now, the Pride have turned it over.
You're right, and like I said, just again, they've got 5 turnovers. Mary Washington doesn't have any, but you've just, as a neutral observer, just being very impressed with the energy and the effort that Mary Washington is playing on the defensive end, getting into passing lane. Springfield's made a couple of threes. It's really been the big thing for them, but the way that the Eagles have gone in and attacked the ball and really just been tough. Trying to tie things up, denying the entry pass in the post has been really, really impressive.
And it's been, you can see on the offensive end for the Eagles, just really spread it. And then they're getting enough out of their press defensively to slow the Pride down. Out of the timeout for the Eagles, it's Mora, Daniel, Reister, Yoxtimer, and number 25, Taylor Johnson. For the Pride, Nick McKenna, Robbie Burke, number 33, Larry Peretra, Sean Martin, and Nick Sinkowitz. Possession belongs to the Eagles. Into the front court comes Mora. Still man-to-man defense this time down for the Pride. Mora starts at right side, looks to penetrate, now backs it on the dribble. Spins along the baseline, takes it baseline, finds Reister off the curl. Reister 3, and that's good. Didn't take long to get that off. Quick touch, and you can see he's got a quick trigger. He's got 9 points here in the first half.
That's a tough shot. That's a pretty good defense there by Springfield coming out off of that screen. And
largest lead of the ball game now at 6 in favor of the Eagles. Pride cleared the timeline. Swinging on the perimeter to Sinkowitz. Back it goes to 25. His three-pointer shot is blocked. That was McKenna who missed it. Eagles come away with a defensive rebound. Front court, Taylor Johnson, left wing. Bounce pass baseline, it goes to DeJuan Daniel. He'll back his man down, kick it back out on the perimeter to Johnson, who swings it to Mora. Mora keeps the dribble alive. Reister off the curl right side. Back to Mora, top of the key, 16 on the shot clock. working against the half-court man-to-man. Finds Taylor Johnson. They'll pull it back out as Coach Rod Wood sets the offense. 8 on the shot clock. Mora with the dribble right side. Two-man game right side. They're trying to find Riester off the curl. Catch down the jumper just off in time. They're going to wave it off. So they're actually going to give it. The whistle blew. I thought that was going to be a shot clock violation. The officials confer, and they're going to give him the jumper from the elbow. And now Kevin Ricks and Dennis Ashcraft are going to confer. You can see Springfield's coach there, Charlie Brock, saying he's not sure whether that should count or not.
Yeah, right? Definitely heard a whistle. It seemed like maybe before the shot went up.
Now they're going to take it away. So they gave him the bucket to begin with. Now they'll take it off the board. So that'll back it down to 19-13. Shot clock violation, and the Eagles will set their press.
Yeah, and I think that was the right call.
I do too. I think that he took that one extra dribble, didn't get it up in time. Opposite, along the baseline, that's 12, Alex Garska. And you're going to say charging foul along the baseline. Garska took it along too deep along that baseline. It'll be his first, the team's second. Inbound in the backcourt, it'll be Taylor Johnson. Gets it to Dom Mora. Eagles into the front court. Met there by the half-court defense of the Pride. Top of the key, that's 25 Johnson. Left side to Mora. Mora swings the top of the key to Daniel. Daniel right side to Johnson. Top of the key, that bounce pass finds Yoxtheimer. Back it comes to Riester. Crossover dribble, 11 on the shot clock. Back to Johnson, right side, bounce pass to the baseline. They find Yoxtheimer. Jumper on the way, that's Riester, and that's good. Behind the screen, Yoxtheimer made the pass. Sort of sets the screen at that point, and Riester's got 12 points, 12 of their 22. The Eagles are up by 9.
4 for 4 from 3. This reminded me of Chris Hamilton for the Jackets against Hampton Sydney.
Martin on the perimeter to Sinkowitz. Sinkowitz uses the dribble, brings it back to the left side to Martin. Martin crossing over, has it poked away by Moore. It'll stay with the Pride. 17 on the shot clock, 8:43 on the game clock here. The Eagles of Mary Washington up 22-13, and a quick timeout's going to be called for by Springfield. They're going to need to find a way to stop Bradley Riester. We talked about him in the pregame being one of the top three-point shooters in the country, statistically in the top 10 in both three-pointers made and three-pointer percentage, but he's been on fire here in the early going.
The first two, I think you kind of say Springfield needs to make an adjustment and try to get a better job of getting on. The last two were tough shots. I mean, that one kind of fading away in the corner off that screen in front of the Springfield bench. I mean, that just shows you what a good shooter he is. And but you just hopefully, I guess, though he's as good as he is, maybe play the percentage a little bit, just keep trying to force him out. And maybe just come to a situation you got to do a better job denying him the ball because he's not dribbling. I mean, all four have been pretty much catch and shoot. So maybe Springfield just got to try to find a way to
the one time he actually had to put the ball on the floor was the shot clock violation. Right. When you had to deepen the shot clock, you had to try to make him create. He didn't quite get the ball up in time. The shot went down, but they waved it off with a violation. So the ball will belong to the Pride out of the timeout. 8:43 to play here in the first half. 22-13 in favor of the Eagles of the University of Mary Washington. Inbound goes to Martin. Martin working against Mora. Both teams playing primarily half-court man-to-man. Bounce pass backdoor. Burke. Turnover. Tried to feed it to Garska along the baseline. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with, or actually go over to Mary Washington.
I mean, I like that. Mary Washington's being aggressive defensively. Tried to use that against him going backdoor, and Springfield just didn't execute there. Mora
into the timeline. Chased there by Garska. They'll set a double high screen at the free throw line. Riester off of that, didn't get it. Popping out, that's number 5, Yoxtheimer, and he nails the three. He was in that screen at the free throw line. Once Riester came off, he became the shooter as he stepped back. And the Eagles on fire from behind the arc. Pressure in the backcourt. Sinkowitz, front court finds Burke. Good defensive pressure on the half-court set being applied by the Eagles. Back to Sinkowitz, baseline, that's Burke. Has it stripped as he goes up, and it's off his leg and out of bounds. The deflection will go to Daniel. The ball goes back to Mary Washington. And they're up 25-13 with 7:58 to play.
And ever since that McKenna three to put Springfield up 13-11, Springfield's had 5 turnovers in the last 7 possessions. They've really had a tough time getting anything going on the offensive end.
And you think defensively they've given up 4 threes in that period of time as well. Nice set that the Eagles run that time. They've got a double screen at the free throw line. Riester comes off the curl. If he doesn't get it, they actually have one of the screeners, in this case John Yoxtheimer, who steps back, and they swing the ball to him, and he's showing some range from the top of the key. So everybody's focused on Riester trying to stop him coming off the curl, and actually the screener becomes a shooter, and he knocks it down.
Yeah, it's at least the second time they've run a similar set, and it's a good thing because, like I said, Reister's probably going to be the focal point of their offense. That's certainly both ends of the floor. Springfield's at least try to get themselves some stops here to give themselves a chance here back on the other end. Not a team that really wants to run a whole lot, but maybe just get some buckets in transition and get Mary Washington on their heels a little bit, be what they need to turn things around.
7:58 here in the first half, 25-13 in favor of the Eagles of Mary Washington College, or Mary Washington University, that is. They scored the first 7 points of the ball game. The Pride fought their way back to take a 1-point lead.
And now that Mary Washington's on a 14-0 run.
Ball inbound in the backcourt. Mora takes the inbound. Slight pressure in the backcourt as Garska's on the ball. Mora clears the timeline. Pride fall back in a half-court man-to-man. Dribble live, top of the key, that's Mora. Swings it at Yochsteimer. Beyond the circle, handoff goes to Reister. Reister down the lane, kicks it in the corner. Back at it comes to Mora, open three. Side rims it. Ball tipped out of bounds. It'll belong to the Pride. Mora got a clean look, patiently shot that ball just off the right side, and the Eagles couldn't control the rebound. The Pride will have a shot.
And that's needed. Not one of the better three-point shooters for Mary Washington, about 23%. So get out of Reister's hands and into his. You like your chances.
Garska in the backcourt, clears the timeline for the Pride. Immediately picked up by Reister. They'll start it left side in the hands of Martin. Actually, that's number 34, Kilday, back in the ballgame. Martin, top of the key. Backs on the dribble with 20 to shoot. Bounce pass finds Burke. Burke swings it back to Martin left side. Martin penetrates down the lane, and he'll get caught for the travel. And you got to give the University of Mary Washington defense credit that time. They got a piece of the ball just disrupted that. He had that little shovel pass, but that deflection really disrupted the timing of that.
Just yet another one. If they're not getting turnovers or getting deflections, and they're just, Springfield is, except for maybe a 3 or 4 possession stretch in this first half, has not been able to flow offensively.
Mora right side, inside the right hash. Yochsteimer, top of the key. Couldn't get the three. Hands it off instead to Taylor Johnson. Now it's DeJuan Daniel, left wing. He looks to penetrate down the lane. He goes, flips it opposite. Yochsteimer misses the tip. Goes for the third time, can't get it to go. Rebound finally down to Springfield. In some traffic in the backcourt. Cross-court pass goes to Garska. Garska racing down the left side, takes it to the baseline. Opposite corner, they're going to say that Garska stepped on the baseline, took it a little bit too far. He had an open shooter, Martin, in that right corner, but that's another turnover for Springfield College.
And that's 5 straight possessions in a row for the Pride. And seeing one thing on the offensive end for Mary Washington, maybe where their size is affecting them a little bit, it's their ability to finish around the rim. They've got some nice plays penetrating, but just the offensive rebounds or like some plays like that where you make a nice drive and try to finish. Haven't been able to quite do it. Just a little bit smaller in the front court. That's been the one thing that we've seen that maybe that hadn't worked to Mary Washington's advantage in the first half.
Daniel right side for the Eagles in the front court. Bounce pass across the top finds Johnson. Left side now to Mora. Mora one dribble. Back at it comes to Daniel. Reister just inside the right hash. 16 on the shot clock. Reister with a dribble. Top of the key, that's Luchtenhaus. Back it comes to Mora. 11 on the shot clock. Eagles patient on the offensive end. Mora looks to penetrate, works his way down the lane, now hands it off along the baseline. Jump on the way by Luchtenhaus, off the back rim, no good. Tipped and out of bounds. It'll belong to the Eagles. The Pride couldn't corral it. It was Sinkowitz working with Burke underneath, and Burke goes scrambling to the floor, trying to gain possession. Couldn't get it. It'll go back to the Eagles with a fresh 35.
Tough break there for the Pride.
Inbound, quick three on the way from Reister, and that's good. They set a screen. Shooter from behind the screen. He's got 5 threes in the first half, 15 of their 28 points, and the Eagles are now up by 15.
Just very quick inbounds play for Springfield could get set and leave him too wide open.
Martin right side, cross-court pass, jump on the way out of that deep corner. That's 3. Knocked down by Sinkowitz left corner. An answer for the Pride. Now they lose a man in transition, and Daniel gets the layup and the foul. You had 3 guys back for the Pride, and the Eagles throw over the top as Daniel is behind them. Tough finish for DeJuan Daniel. He'll get the bucket and the foul.
Well, that Sinkowitz 3 ended about a 8-minute stretch, or close to it, without a point for Springfield. So, but then again, you make a 3, you make a play to kind of stop the bleeding, then you get beat back on the other end. And little things like that you just can't afford to have happen here.
The foul gets called against Sean Martin, his first, the team's third. DeJuan Daniel at the free throw line for the Eagles to shoot 1. Misses the free throw. Battle for the rebound, controlled by the Eagles. In the hands of Taylor Johnson. Cross-court pass goes to Reister. Bounce pass along the baseline. DeJuan Daniels' shot is blocked. The Pride with a run out. Sean Martin, the open court, is stripped, and the ball goes out of bounds. Good transition defense that time by Marcellus Holly to get a piece of it. The Pride will still own it from the baseline with 5:24 to play and 31 on the shot clock. Martin will inbound for Springfield. 30-16 right now in favor of the Eagles of the University of Mary Washington. Right side to Sienkiewicz. Sienkiewicz with the dribble, works it back to the top of the key. Picks up the dribble, looking for help, finds Martin. Martin guarded there by Holly. Dribble live, high ball screen set by Swenson. They swing it right side. Sienkiewicz with a three on the way. That's off the side rim. Swenson had it for a moment, tips it to Burke. Burke will bring it back out. Martin, top of the key, thought about the three. Reverses it now to Burke. That's Kilday, actually. Kilday back to Sienkiewicz. Now to Burke, top of the key. Back cross court to Sienkiewicz, down low to Swenson, and they're going to call an offensive foul. Battling in the low post. Swenson went up to catch it with the right hand. They're going to say he used his left hand to shed the defender, and that'll be another turnover for the Pride.
Just give Lichtenhouse credit for battling down low there, so he'll check out, but really Springfield's not been able to use that size advantage on the offensive end to any sort of advantage.
Under 5 minutes to play here, first half. It's 30-16 in favor of the Eagles of Mary Washington College. They'll walk it, or Mary University of Mary Washington, that is, they'll walk it into the front court. Mora starts at left side to Reister. Reister loses the dribble for a moment, tips it, and it's going to be stolen by number 32, Burke. Burke chased from behind. He'll draw the foul. Mora thought he had a clean steal. Well, that'll be the fifth foul called against the Eagles. Should be the first on Dom Mora. Not a shooting foul. Neither team in the bonus right now with 4:36 to play, so pretty cleanly played on the defensive end. The Pride will inbound from the baseline. Quickly they get it to Swenson. Swenson swings it on the perimeter to Martin. Bounce pass left side to Sienkiewicz. Sienkiewicz takes it left baseline. Attic comes to Kilday. He misses the three. Inside rebounding position by Swenson. Misses the short one. Battle for the rebound. Sienkiewicz had it for a moment. Cleared out of there by Mora. Eagles on the run. Mora into the front court. Keep the dribble alive. He'll set the offense working out high against Simon Kilday. Ball screen set by Yoxtheimer. Left side in the hands of Scott. Couldn't get Reister off the curl. They'll reverse instead to Mora with 15 on the shot clock. Ball screen again by Yoxtheimer. Mora behind it with a dribble down the left side. Takes it left baseline. Still working on the baseline. 6 on the shot clock. Back to comes to Mora. He'll fire the three. That's an air ball out of bounds. And I think that time you got to give the Pride credit. They were able to deny the ball out of Reister's hands, forcing Mora to take that tough shot as we go to a timeout. So better look that time for the Pride on the defensive end.
Well, you're right, and I think that's key. I mean, when Moore is clearly a pass-first point guard, he doesn't look for both of the shot attempts that he's had have been kind of as the shot clock's winding down. So try to keep the ball in his hands and take away his options. He's had 8 assists already in the first half, and Mary Washington 10 assists and their 11 made field goals. That's pretty impressive. I mean, I've been extremely impressed first time getting to watch him this year and how they've played. But better defensive possession that time for Springfield.
Optimistic that time. I think Burke lost it in the low post. Martin picks up the loose ball, knocks down a three. Pride back to within 11.
Yep, that's what they need to kind of break to go the way. Loose ball scramble situation. Mary Washington anybody to defend.
Holly gives it up to Scott, right baseline. Scott slips, goes to the deck. Turnover in favor of the Pride. Sinkwitz into the front court, feeds Martin. Martin driving to the left side, has a shot blocked, and they'll call the foul. One of the few opportunities you have to get a run out for the Pride. Sinkwitz with the loose ball, got it to Martin. Martin hard to the hole, and he gets fouled. He'll shoot two. 16 fouls now against the Eagles.
And only the second turnover there, so Mary Washington's done a terrific job taking care of the ball. Kind of unfortunate break there as Martin makes his first free throw. You kind of slip there near midcourt, and then it becomes a live ball situation, and Springfield takes advantage.
DeJuan Daniel checks back in the lineup as in number one, Dylan Farranet for the Eagles.
And Farranet's been up for a while with 2 fouls, and really a lot of this run for Mary Washington was done with him on the bench with foul trouble.
Sean Martin made his first free throw. Second free throw long off the back rim. Reister drops in for the rebound. 10-point ball game, 30-20 in favor of the Eagles over the Pride. On the perimeter, that's Luchtenhaus. Gives it up right side to Holly. Holly with the dribble, looks to penetrate, kicks it back on the perimeter. Reister jumper from 17 feet, and that's good. This time uses the dribble to clear himself. The defender flew at him, looking for the three, knocks down a short two.
It's going to make him hard to defend in the second half. He shows you he's got that ability to put the ball on the floor and a couple times and pull up and make a jump shot.
Martin backdoor to Sinkwitz, and that's easy. They turn their head defensively. Sinkwitz hard to the hole for two. It's back to a 10-point lead for the Eagles. Perimeter, Luchtenhaus, left side in the hands of Farranet. Out of the corner, that's Holly with a three, no good. Rebound by Luchtenhaus, baseline, backdoor cut underneath. They feed it back to Luchtenhaus, and he gets the bucket and the foul. Interior passing for the Eagles. First they get the offensive rebound, and I guess it's proper that John Luchtenhaus is going to get rewarded. He got the offensive rebound. This time he gets the bucket, and he'll shoot one.
Yeah, just being the more aggressive team. I mean, they're going after everything, even though they don't have the size of Springfield. As Mary Washington's really just attacking the glass there, and it's going to be the second on Swinson, so one of the 6-7 bodies for Springfield's going to probably go to the bench for the last 2:12 of the half of the second foul.
He does check out. That's his second, the team's fifth. Free throw is good by Luchtenhaus. He'll go to the bench. Number 5, John Yoxtheimer will check back in along with number 40, Tyler Snow. 35-22 in favor of the Eagles. 2:11 to play here in the first half. Martin operating at the point for the Pride. Clears the timeline. Met there by Mora. Double screen at the free throw line. Martin with the dribble live. Gets it in the hands of Kilday. Kilday to Sinkwitz. Sinkwitz pull up from 17 feet. That rattles off the mark. Inside rebound, and that's two underneath. I think that was Kildale on the low post. Puts it up for two. Pulls his team back to within 11.
Springfield's starting to get a little bit of a stride here on the offensive end here as the half's winding down.
Daniel, right side. You can see they're going to give him the shot. Not one of the three-point shooters you have to really cover on the perimeter. Mora with the dribble out high, working there against Simon Kilday. Mora uses the ball screen, right side tipped and controlled by the Pride. They get it into the hands of number 33, Peretra, waits for his point guard, gets it to Sinkwitz. Sinkwitz front court, 1:18 on the game clock, 27 on the shot clock. Kilday reverses it to Martin. Martin with the dribble live out high. On the perimeter, that's Peretra. Down low, backdoor again, and that's Martin. They beat Reister. Nice feed from Peretra, and that's the closest the Pride have been in quite a while. It's 35-26 with 1:02 to play.
Yeah, it's about the 9-minute mark's the last time they had been at 9 or less. So,
and that's the second time they've gotten a backdoor cut when the defender turns their head, and you get an easy layup.
And there's no help because of aggressiveness. Mary Washington showing the defensive end, get out the passing lanes on the perimeter.
Mora front court. Under a minute to play, 22 on the shot clock. Motions for Reister to come to the top. They double team the cutter that time, making sure Reister can't get a touch of the ball. Now it's Daniel with 14 on the shot clock. Reister right side, guarded there by Martin, and a timeout's going to be called for by the Eagles. Coach Rod Wood will use his 30-second timeout with 10 on the shot clock, 36.4 on the game clock. And you can see they set a lot of different screens on the perimeter, but I think the Pride have done a nice job of really fighting through those screens and almost switching on some of those screens to not give Reister the same looks he had early in the half.
Right, and this is a use it or lose it timeout. So I think the situation where Reister wasn't in a catch-and-shoot position, And with the shot clock winding down, let's reset it here and try to draw something up to get him coming off the screen. But you're right. It seems like Springfield last 3 or 4 minutes had done a better job of playing off the dribble drive a little bit. So there's the passing lanes aren't there. They've got a few more deflections and then doing a nice job here of, like I said, switching on the screens and not giving the good looks or easier looks, doing a better job of non-reach to the ball.
36.4 in the game clock, 10 on the shot clock. The Eagles have it in the front court. They're up by 9. Inbound will be Mora. Gets it into Fairnet. Back it comes to Mora. He'll bring it to the left side with a dribble. 5 on the shot clock. Couldn't get the reacher out. It comes on the perimeter to Taylor Johnson. He'll fire the 3. Side rim, no good. Ball tipped and controlled by the Pride. Martin gets it on the sideline. Front court they find in the hands of Burke. Burke down the right side. Takes it baseline up off the glass. Misses the first one. Opposite side layup goes backside. That's number 33. Puts it up for Peretra. 7-point ball game. Pride now has it under 10 on the game clock. Actually, Eagles have it in the front court. Mora crossing over down the lane. He goes, misses the driving left-handed layup. It'll draw the foul. With 3 on the game clock, the foul will go against number 34, Simon Kilday. And Mora will go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
That's a tough finish here for Mora. I mean, just going to his left, trying to finish his left over the much bigger defender and do a good job of getting some contact there. And that would have been a big stop for Springfield, going the half only down 7. As bad as they looked at times in the first half.
The foul was called against Kilday, his first, the team's 6th. Mora makes his first. He has one more. So the Pride will have a chance to get one final shot off. 3 seconds on the game clock. And you can see they're going to send Kilday and Sinkowitz to the deep corners at the opposite end of the floor, hoping to get a defensive rebound and then a long pass to maybe get a 3 off. Mora's second free throw is good. 37-28 now as Mora will check out. Marcellus Holly will check back in. They get it to Martin. Martin racing into the front court. 3 at the buzzer. Ooh. Back rim, no good. Nearly got that to go. But we'll go to the half. 37-28 in favor of the Eagles of the University of Mary Washington over the Pride of Springfield College.
Yeah, the half pretty much been all Mary Washington. Got out to a 7-0 lead. I think we're up 14 at one point, 30-16, but have a 9-point lead here at the half, and I think it's big for Springfield to cut into it. Like I said, it could have been 7 for that late foul there, but I think impressive for them. They've got a big advantage on the boards. I think you would expect that with their size combined with Mary Washington's lack thereof. But, really the difference has been Springfield having a stretch there where they just did not take care of the basketball. 5 straight possessions with a turnover, and I believe 8 out of 12 possessions with the turnover that allowed Mary Washington to build that lead up to 14. And then just Mary Washington shooting the 3, Reister with 5 of 5, and then Yoxheimer with that other one. That's kind of the recipe we talked about. Mary Washington averages about 9-10 steals a ball game, so no surprise there. But once they start taking care of the ball a little more, start limiting those 3-point opportunities for Mary Washington, they didn't have one in the last 5 minutes, I don't think. And they're able to cut back into this thing and cut it to 7 at one point and now 9 here at the half.
And I think you made the point that you're going into the half down by less than 10. You feel like you're still within chasing distance, if you will.
Right.
But really, you could have been. You don't
could
play
have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse. I think that the Pride have got to feel at least somewhat good about where they are right now. So at the half, 37-28, the Eagles are from the University of Mary Washington coming into the ballgame at 22-5. They have a 9-point lead of the Pride of Springfield College. Andrew and I are going to step away for about 5 minutes. We'll be back to you in just a few moments with our stat sheets as we just before we start the second half. Welcome back courtside Crenshaw Gymnasium on the campus of Randolph-Macon College. First round action in the 2014 Division III Men's Basketball Tournament Championship. The Eagles of Mary Washington, the University of Mary Washington, up 37-28 over the Pride of Springfield College at the half. Marty Wilson and Andrew Price with you here courtside. Quickly looking at the statistics, Andrew. The Pride shoot 42% in the first half, 10 of 24 overall, scoring 28 points. They're 5 of 12 on their three-point attempts for 42%, and only 3 of 4 from the free throw line for 75. They win the battle of the boards 20-10 over the Eagles. But I think the big stat you look at for Springfield, not a bad percentage that you're shooting, but when you turn the ball over 12 times, you're just not giving yourself enough opportunities on the offensive end.
You weren't. And at one point in time, they had 5 made field goals to 12 turnovers. Obviously, you finished with 10 field goals and still to 12 turnovers. So just a lot better job of giving themselves a chance there the last 5 minutes of the half, a lot better job of taking care of the basketball. And as a result, they're able to cut in this lead and cut it down to 9. That's really the big story is, giving themselves a chance to shoot. If you get a miss, get a rebounds. Mary Washington has had a tough time at times. Just, there's multiple tip situations where they're scrapping for the board, but they just can't quite come up with it and finish the possession defensively. Springfield's had a few of those, and that's been their advantage, but at least got to give yourself that opportunity.
The Pride are led in scoring the first half. Nick Sinkwitz with 7 points, Sean Martin with 6, Simon Kilday with 6. I think the big story also is Robbie Burke, a first-team All-Conference performer for the Pride. Only 1 of 3 from the floor for 2 points, and he also has 3 of the 12 turnovers.
Right, and certainly they've done an outstanding job on him and Swinson, both more interior scorers for Springfield. We talked about Mary Washington having some issues with the size, but between the two of those guys, 1 of 5 from the floor and 4 points. And so Mary Washington, the Eagles have done an outstanding job of doing that. They're just doing a nice job, not even letting him get in the ball. That's how they're able to do it. Their post players are doing a good job of getting some deflections, trying to front the post and deny that entry pass, and it's really made them tough to even get the ball. It's where a lot of those turnovers have come from to Springfield.
I mean, you turn and look at the Eagles. They're shooting 46.4% from the floor. That's 13 of 28 overall, 6 of 12 from beyond the three-point line for 50%, and 5 of 6 from the free throw line for 83%. Leading scorer in the first half, Bradley Reister, 17 points in the first half. He averages 18 points per game on the season, so almost of his average at the half. They've also got DeJuan Daniel with 6, John Yoxtheimer off the bench with 5, John Lookenhouse with 3, Dom Mora with 4, and Dylan Farranet with 2. Look at the line for Dom Mora. He's got 4 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, and 1 turnover in the first half. And I think at least 6 of his assists have gone to Bradley Reister. And Reister's been putting on quite a shooting exhibition here in the first half.
It's been impressive. I mean, Mora's done a great job of running the show for the Eagles, and they just haven't had anybody really can slow them down. And then the interior, the defense has to collapse, and he makes the right decision. The guy gets a wide open layup, or in the case of finding Reister, does a good job of finding him coming off the screen with the timing just right. Gets a pass, boom, shot goes up. 10 assists on 13 made field goals for Mary Washington there. But you're right, Reister, I mean, coming off screens, he makes the 5 3-pointers, and then he makes a move where he takes a couple dribbles, pulls up, knocks down a jump shot, a long jumper, and you're going, okay, all right, so now what do we try to do? Basically, just not let him get the ball, because, when he's touched it, he's not had it for very long. He's not a guy that's going to try to beat you off the dribble. It seems like really try to attack the rim. He's going to get it and shoot, maybe take a couple dribbles at nose. So your best bet is just not even let him get those touches of the ball. As you mentioned, doing a better job of switching on the screens and just, if you see him in your sight, you're not letting him get the ball and making some of these other guys try, some of the guys that aren't as good a shooter, try to have them make those shots.
And you wonder whether you make some defensive changes to the Pride. I don't think they play a lot of zone as a rule, but really not going box or one against it, but you take the guy who's playing Reister and just say, you've got no help responsibilities. I don't care if you get beat back door. You just need to spend your time denying the ball to him. You just go solo on him. And Coach Nunley used to use that quite a bit. Oddly enough, with Greg Marshall, Rod's roommate here, we did that against Liberty several times, taking out their primary scorer, just saying, I don't care if the guy goes behind you, get the layup. Your man can't get the ball, and you can't score. And you really just try to focus on taking Reister out of the ball game.
I think you have to. His shooting gives you such a lift. It's really such a difference maker in the first half for Mary Washington. And like I said, it's catch and shoot. So at that point in time, it's almost too late. At least the way he's been shooting the ball in the first half. So the only thing you can try to do is just hopefully make him take some more off balance shots. Put in some awkward situations, not as comfortable. Maybe bump him a little. I saw a couple of times where he tried to come through the lane, Springfield bump him coming across the lane, cut, and just make life a little bit more difficult for him trying to get the ball when he does actually get it.
Reister 5 for 5 from beyond the three-point line. He's 67 overall from the floor. And right here at the half, we've got the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington up 37-28 over the Pride of Springfield College. You've got some of the other scores from around the D3 tournament up there in front of you.
Yep, sure do. I'll start with the Randolph-Macon women's program. Unfortunately for the Jackets, they were down 52-32 and a half at Messiah. But it's like some other schools around that tournament, or excuse me, NCAA tournament at the half down at Virginia Beach. Alvernia with a 2-point lead, 31-29 over Wesley. Of course, Wesley in the regular season Capital Athletic Conference champions for them. Also of note, at least for Randolph-Macon fans, Geneseo State with a 37-32 lead over Dickinson College. Dickinson, for the team Randolph-Macon beat here in their Christmas tournament. In the other NEWMAC scores, Gordon leading Babson 19-11, still about halfway through the first half there in that one. Albertus Magnus trailing WPI 34-29, so 3:28 left to go in the first half in that one. WPI to one in the right side of the column there for the NEWMAC there. Scranton with 45-42 at the half over Hobart for the Jackets. That was a team they lost to in the early season as well. So just a handful of the scores going on. Some games, particularly in the Central Time Zone, will be getting underway here soon. They're early games, and of course the second set usually start about 7:30. So a lot more action to come here this evening in the opening round of the NCAA tournament.
As we took a break during the half, we stepped away from just a moment. We were talking, we're making our way back to the table here. The energy we saw from the Eagles of Mary Washington early in the first half. It's been a long time since you've seen a team come out and play with almost that frantic pace.
Right.
It's a team that's they're athletic, but they're not tall, they're not wide.
Right.
They've got a bunch of guys that are long and wiry, but Coach Rod Wood really has them play with a frantic pace, and they came out really just off the opening tip. And you've got to really be impressed with how quick they are. They play well defensively, and just the sheer energy. It was amazing how quickly they got into this ball game and just dictated the pace.
Well, you're right, and read some of the comments throughout the year from Coach Wood and his players. A bunch of seniors, they love playing for him. They really buy into the energy. He loves these guys. He called them the Island of Misfit Toys kind of in one article. He's just a scrappy, hard-nosed bunch, and it would have been one of his favorite teams to coach. And for our first time really seeing it this year, you can see why. I mean, these kids play this hard every time, then certainly see that. But Springfield's going to get the ball here to start the second half. I think it's important for them. We've seen some Mary Washington's had some success in the first half, be it the dribble penetration, the threes, causing the turnovers. What Springfield be able to do here to counter and to go on a little bit of run here to start the half and see if they can continue to close the gap as they did here at the end of the first half.
Big possession to start the half, I think, for Springfield. They were right down there, down by 9. They could get a 3 to go down and suddenly get it to 6. It's been a while since they've been able to apply a whole lot of pressure to the Eagles. Inbound comes to Martin. Martin in the front court. Back door, they get a missed layup. Sinkwitz misses it. Then he gets it back, misses the second one. But they execute the back door to perfection. And Sinkwitz just couldn't get the layup to go. Was able to get it back and gets fouled on the second chance attempt. But good execution up until the point you've got to make the layup.
I mean, it was like a layup drill layup. I mean, it was... Don't know how you missed that one, but a good execution, good play there. We saw some of that towards the end of the half, too. The backdoor cuts for Springfield, very successful. So he makes a first free throw, and like I said, Mary Washington, very aggressive. That leaves him a little susceptible to that on the defensive end, and that's been one adjustment Springfield's made.
Daniel gets whistled for the foul, his second, the team's first. Sinkwitz makes both his free throws. That closes the gap to 7, 37-30. Eagles into the front court. Mora with the ball, directing traffic. Motions for Daniel to pop out in the left corner. Feeds it to Daniel on the left wing. Half-court man-to-man being shown by the Pride. Farnett, top of the key. Swings it back left side to Taylor Johnson. Pressure on the ball applied there by Burke. Underneath, driving layup, missed. Johnson gets it back off the miss, gets the rebound, swings it all the way back on the perimeter to Mora. They have a fresh 35 opposite Daniel, and he'll get the layup off the glass and the foul. 9th assist of the ball game for Mora. They got the offensive rebound, brought it back out to Mora off of his penetration, feeds Daniel right side. Daniel with a tough finish, and that's going to be the third foul called against Tim Swenson. He'll immediately go to the Pride bench.
It's a disagreement there. It's kind of one as much contact as we've seen at other points in time in this ball game. Tough for him to pick up his third so quickly.
Peretro will check back in the lineup for the Pride. Meanwhile, DeJuan Daniel at the free throw line to shoot one. Free throw rattles home. 10-point lead now for the Eagles. 19-22 to play here, second half. And the Pride will work against the Mary Washington press. Inbound comes to Martin. They don't trap immediately. Now they'll back off, leaving Moore in the backcourt working against Martin. Martin clears the timeline, starts at left side to Sienkiewicz. Sienkiewicz, top of the key to Kilday. Kilday, handoff on the perimeter to Peretra. Back it comes to Sienkiewicz on the perimeter, swings it right side to Martin. 14 on the shot clock. 5 right wing, working there against Mora. 9 on the shot clock. Still with the dribble live as Martin crossing over against Mora. Down the lane he goes, and they'll draw the foul. Daniel's going to get called for the reach, and that should be his third. With 3 on the shot clock, really just looking to create. Martin driving the lane. It'll be Daniel's third, the team's second. Not a shooting foul.
And they just kind of reached and got him on the arm. See Springfield, a little bit of dribble penetration there out of Martin. Really, I haven't seen a whole lot of that, and created the foul.
Inbound underneath the Sienkiewicz. Misses the left. Martin sticks it back, can't get it to go. They had 2 chances out of bounds. It'll stay with Springfield. Again, they get a point-blank look for Nick Sienkiewicz. Couldn't get it to go, and the Pride will own it from the baseline with a fresh 35. They're getting some good looks, just can't convert. Inbound will be Martin, and a foul is going to be called against Daniel, and that's going to be his 4th. He was chasing along the baseline with Simon Kilday, so back-to-back possessions. Daniel picks up 2 fouls. He'll go to the bench in favor of number 13, Asa Scott.
You just got to know a little bit better as a senior. Your foul situation, where you are, to pick a 4th there.
Inbounds from the baseline. Attic comes on the perimeter to Martin. Swings it. 3 on the way. That's Robbie Burke, and he knocks it down. Gets a good look, probably his first clean look in the ball game. Nails a 3, and the Pride back to within 7. Mora front court. Keeps the dribble alive, takes it to the left elbow, now reverses it. Out of the corner, that's Scott with a 3 off the side rim, no good. Chased down by Sienkiewicz. Backcourt against a trap, tipped and controlled by Martin. Martin races into the front court. Down the right side he goes, misses the driving left. Richter clears the rebound. Outlet comes to Mora, and a foul in the backcourt by Martin. You can see Martin maybe a little frustrated. He actually gave an elbow at midcourt to Shed Richter, and when he got to the rim, couldn't finish. And maybe that frustration boils over as he gives the foul chasing the dribbler.
And he knew it, kind of pat himself saying, my bad. But nice job there by Moore on the defensive end. Stands his ground like he's going to take a charge and makes him, Martin, kind of have to change directions as he's driving into the lane. As he does, he takes a little bit more of an awkward shot, and he misses and gets a stop.
Sean Martin gets whistled for his 2nd foul, the team's 2nd. Inbound belongs to the Eagles. Dribble live out high by Mora, swings it right side to Scott. Scott working against the half-court man-to-man, brings it back to the top of the key with the dribble. Right side, that's 25, Taylor Johnson with the penetration. He'll draw a contact and a whistle. Foul's going to be called on Robbie Burke, his first, the team's 3rd. 3 fouls each way now with 17:54 to play here in the 2nd. It's 40-33 in favor of the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. Inbound, out it comes to Taylor Johnson. Behind the screen, 3 on the way, no good. Rebound pulled down by Kilday. Working against a double team in the backcourt. Into the front court finds Martin. Martin with a 2-on-1 opposite. Down low to Burke, loses it, has it stripped in the hands of Mora. Now the Eagles with a run out. Mora pulls it back out with a dribble. Did not have numbers. Smart play by the point guard. Farragut, corner jumper on the way by Richter. Side rim, no good. Tip. Back at it comes to the Eagles. Fresh 35. Richter will get another look just off the top of the key and knocks it down. Nice find by Mora. That gives Mora 10 assists in the ball game. Pushes the point total for Richter to 20. His team is up by 10.
Damn, he actually misses for once. His team gets a rebound. He wants the ball right back and knocks it down.
Martin front court. Backdoor to Sienkiewicz not there. He'll feed it to Kilday. Top of the key. Screen set by Burke, and a foul's going to be called. That's against Mary Washington. I think that's going to be on Asa Scott. And where we didn't have a whole lot of fouls in the first half, all of a sudden you've got 4 on the board for one team, 3 on for the other, with less than 3 minutes played in the second half. So may come down to free throw shots down the end of the ball game. Inbound from the sideline belongs to Springfield. Get it to the flasher. That's Kilday. Kilday along baseline, loses it out of bounds, and it'll be a travel. Got bumped along the baseline, but no call, and they say he shuffled his feet, and that'll be a turnover for Springfield.
That's a further, give them credit, Springfield, probably about the first turnover in the last 8 minutes or so, dating back to the first half as well, so a lot better job taking care of the ball.
Mora front court, chased there by Martin. Can't find Richter off the curl. Instead, it's Farragut. Farragut penetrates, kicks it opposite. Scott rotates it back to Johnson, and a bump. Closeout, you can see Burke trying to close out on the shooter. Taylor Johnson puts it on the floor and draws contact, so now there'll be 4 fouls each way. They're going to call that on Burke, and Burke trying to plead his case with Dennis Ashcraft, one of the officials.
Hey, good luck with that.
Yeah, he won't win that argument.
But yeah, just didn't really come out under control, kind of come out on the defender.
Taylor Johnson with the catch, top of the key. They'll rotate to Scott, right side now to Mora. Half-court man-to-man being shown by the Pride. Mora penetrates, looks opposite. They swing it on the perimeter to Farranet. Penetration by Mora down low. Out it comes to Scott. He'll fire the 3 right side, and that's good. Off the bench, ace to Scott. Great ball movement by the Eagles. They went inside, they immediately looked back out, and they pushed this lead back out to 13.
And that's what they do when they get the 3 ball going down for you. They can be a team of runs. The championship game against Newport went on a 20-5 run late to blow that thing open with 4 3-pointers.
Kilday 3 on the way. That side rim no good. Chased down by Reister. Long rebound, and a foul's going to be called against number 33, Larry Peretra. That'll be his first, I believe. Team's 5th. 46-33 in favor of the Eagles of the University of Mary Washington. 16:02 to play. Second half. Sienkiewicz checks out for the Pride. Number 25, Nick McKennis, checked into the ball game. Mora will take his time clearing the timeline. High ball screen set. Now he sheds that, feeds it right side in the hands of Taylor Johnson. Johnson drives baseline, kicks it back on the perimeter. Farranet thought about the 3. He'll shoot the floater off the glass. No good. Rattles out. Cleared by the Pride. Outlet comes to Martin. Springfield looks to run. On the run, Martin gets
nice
the bucket
finish.
to go. That's a great finish. Crossing over in the lane against number 2, Marcellus Holly. And Martin's going to go to the free throw line to shoot 1.
He had an extra gear there. The explosive step coming down the floor. Timeout here.
And you can also see he's very smart. He realizes he wasn't going to the free throw line to shoot his free throw. Realized it was the immediate timeout. Immediately walks to the bench to get a breather. Out of the timeout, it should be Martin shooting 1. They put that foul up on the board against number 22, John Lookenhouse. His first, the team's 6th. So with 15:36 to play, the Pride will be shooting at least 1-1 the rest of the way. The Eagles 2 fouls away from that. But it looks like every time Springfield makes a little bit of a run, gets it to about 7 points or so, a big 3 rains down for the Eagles, and they push this lead back out to 13.
Yeah, I mean, 8 of 17 on the ball game now for Mary Washington from beyond the arc. But you're right, that's been the thing. Like I was saying, I mean, in the championship game against Newport, I think it was a 1-possession ball game. They knocked down 4 threes, and next thing you know, it's they're leading comfortably, and that's the type of ability that they have. In order to, with the way that they shoot the ball. Conversely, you live by it, you die by it. They go cold, or they didn't get the same looks. They weren't able to get the same looks at the end of the first half. And when that was the case, that's when Springfield made a little bit of a run. And so I think you're going to kind of see that ebb and flow a little bit, and eventually, just if Mary Washington can continue to make enough to to keep Springfield at arm's length there.
So out of the timeout, it'll be number 24, Sean Martin, the 6'3 senior from Ringe, New Hampshire, going to the free throw line to shoot 1.
Another thing I think you worry about, too, you talked about the energy that Mary Washington came with, in the first half. You just wonder, is not a tremendously deep team, how can you keep that up, for the course of 40
minutes? And a little bit
minutes?
shorter now with Dewan Daniel with 4 fouls.
Right.
You won't see him for much of the second half. Martin makes his free throw. 46-36 now. The 3-point play by Martin pulls the Pride back to within 10. 15:30 to play here, second half. On the perimeter, it's Farranet. Left side feeds Mora. Back at it comes on the perimeter. Chased down there by Taylor Johnson. Johnson with a dribble, circles it back out to Marinette. Top of the key, that's Mora. Right side, deep 3 by Reister. Back rim, no good. Battle for the rebound, controlled. Loose ball on the deck, and you can see timeout. They're going to give it to the Pride. Mary Washington ends up with 2 players on the floor. You can see Taylor Johnson getting up very slowly, and they're going to say the timeout called by the Pride, and that'll give them possession with 15:08 to play. 3 bodies on the floor, guys scrambling for that. And good presence of mind to call the timeout.
Right. That's a big. I mean, you get a miss out of Reister that time. I mean, you did a better job forcing him out. That 3 was a couple steps deeper than some of the other ones he's been taking, so you get a little bit tougher shot at him. You get a miss, position to get a rebound. You got to hold on to that possession, and they cut it to 7 towards the end of the first half. Ended the half down 9, but Springfield's got to I would think at some point want to be making a run to get this thing back to maybe a 1 or 2 possession ball game for the first time in a long time.
And how they may get there really might be from the free throw line. You look at that, they should be shooting 1-1 the rest of the way, down by 10, but with 15:08 to play, that on every whistle, a defensive foul against Mary Washington, your guys are going to be shooting free throws.
Right.
Very soon it should be a double bonus if it continues at this pace. So,
72% free throw shooting team in Springfield, so very good free throw shooting team. And you're right, the aggressiveness out of Mary Washington, could come some fouls if the whistles, continue to tighten up like they have. But it is an interesting contrast between the first and second half. The first half, not nearly as many. In the second half, certainly some more frequency. Not saying they're bad calls, but certainly have been a lot more physical play here in the second half.
So out of the timeout, it'll be Kilday, Burke, McKenna. Looks like number 24, Sean Martin, and also number 33, Peretra, on the floor for the Pride. They'll have possession, 32 on the shot clock. They'll inbound working against the Mary Washington press. Inbound comes to Martin. Slows it up in the backfoot as Mora falls back. Martin clears the timeline, keeps the dribble alive, works his way to the top of the key. Chased there by Mora. Couldn't find Kilday off the curl. Instead, it's Peretra. Back to Martin, right side. Looks to penetrate right baseline. Cut off there by Scott. Pulls it back with the dribble. Scott now on the switch. 12 on the shot clock. Martin with a dribble alive. They look to double off the screen. Martin still left side. Jumper out of that corner. And that's a three-pointer that's good by number 25, Nick McKenna. Shooting over 40% for the season from three-point range. Pulls his team within 7. Opposite three missed by the Eagles. That was out of the corner by Scott. Rebound comes down to Burke. Quick outlet to Martin. Martin kicks it opposite. Opposite corner this time for McKenna. That rattles off the mark. Had a clean look. Opposite corner just couldn't get it to go.
Rimmed out on him. That would have been a big shot for the Pride had it gone down.
Eagles into the front court. Pride get back well defensively. Mora with the dribble alive. Right side they started to Reister. Reister back, it comes to Fairnet, swings it left side to Mora. And you can see they're really stepping out, hedging every time that Reister comes off a screen. In the hands of Taylor Johnson now with 11 to shoot, backs it out to Mora. Shot clock down to 7. Mora bounce pass low post, read and poked out of there by the Pride. Turnover for the Eagles. He telegraphed that pass, but that's pretty good defense by Larry Peretra.
Yeah, good job rating it, but just not a good angle there to make that entry past the post.
Pride into the front court. Peretra, top of the key. Swings it left side in the hands of Martin. Down low, they find Kilday. Kilday working on the left block. Back out it comes to Martin. Thought about the three. Penetrates instead. And he'll finish at the rim. The finger roll down the lane. And it's a 5-point ball game. The Pride trying to fight their way back.
Yeah, the nice little run here. They've been able to get some stops.
Mora front court. Met there by McKenna. Keeps the dribble alive. Motions for Scott to come get it. Now he has it between the circles. Reister off the curl, kicks it to Taylor Johnson. 3 on the way left side, and that's good. And a quick timeout called for by Coach Rod Wood. Unselfish play that time by Reister. Reverses to that left side. Open 3 by Taylor Johnson. So that 3 pushes the lead back to 8. But before that, you could feel the momentum beginning to shift back to the Pride. And then the Eagles sort of stymied that a little bit by a clean 3 by Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, wide open look, and I think a good time out there by Coach Wood. I mean, he said Springfield started to get a little bit of momentum. Thankfully, you knocked down a shot to sort of hinge it a little bit, but a little bit better looks on the offensive end. They're getting to the rim a little bit more. They're spreading out, sort of what Mary Washington's doing, like that McKenna 3. Reister had to kind of cheat in off his man a little bit, left McKenna wide open in the corner. And he knocks it down. Almost had another one to go on the other end. So they're starting to get some better opportunities, spreading the floor out a little bit, doing some of the things that Mary Washington's been doing throughout the ballgame.
And McKenna hit the 1-3 from the left corner. The next break, he's got a clean look from the opposite corner, the right corner, that really just rattles out. Got a clean look, and that would have been a great break for the Pride had it gone. But 13:05 to play here in the second half. 49-41 in favor of the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. Inbound will belong to the Pride. They'll work in the backcourt against some pressure. They finally get it to Martin. Martin will take his time, clears the timeline, working there against Marcellus Holly. Starts it right side of McKenna. Now to Sienkiewicz. Back it goes to McKenna. Handoff on the perimeter to Martin. Martin right side looks to penetrate. Back at it. It comes in the hands of McKenna. Top of the key, that's Peretra. Peretra looks to penetrate down the lane. He goes. That's going to be a charging foul. Nice play by the Eagles. Looked like that was number 1, Dylan Fairnet, stepping in to draw the charge.
Yeah, it was Fairnet. He just got in position, stood his ground. A nice bits of rotation there out of the senior.
Peretra gets whistled for his second.
It's the second leading scorer set most of the first half with foul trouble, but made a nice defensive play there.
So the turnover gives it back to the Eagles. 12:39 to play. It's 49-41. The Eagles led by 9 at the half. It was 37-28. And Mora has gone most of the way at the point for the Eagles. Takes his time clearing the timeline. Pride showing their half-court man-to-man. They hedge off the high ball screen. Mora with a dribble live, top of the key. That's Holly. Holly brings it right side back to Reister. Closed out there well by Sinkowitz. Mora with a dribble, goes between his legs, and he'll draw contact on the dribble. That foul's going to be on Martin. And that'll be 17 fouls now against the Pride. So the Eagles will be in the 1-on-1. They'll send Dom Moore, the 6-foot senior from Burke, Virginia, Lake Braddock High School, to the free throw line with a 1-on-1 opportunity.
Made all 4 of his free throws in the first half.
First one is good. Moore at the line to shoot his second. Second free throw off the front rim, no good, cleared by the Pride. Easy rebound that time for Peretra. Pride will push it in the front court, down by 9. Martin with a dribble live, backdoor to Sinkwitz, not there. They set the screen. McKenna with the 3, back rim, no good, cleared by Farinet.
Good play there, wide open look. You run the screen up the top of the key and
couldn't get much of a cleaner look, just couldn't knock it down. Mora front court, kicks it in the corner, jumper on the way to that right corner, 3-pointer no good, off the mark, cleared by Martin, then stripped by Holly. So it'll stay with Springfield. And you can see a little bit, John Yoxtheimer he said he got fouled on that 3-point shot, but no call, a little bit slow getting up.
Yeah, and both bodies went to the floor there in the corner. And they were got a timeout here on the floor.
11:49 to play. It's 50-41 in favor of the Eagles of Mary Washington over the Pride of Springfield College. 7 fouls now against the Pride, so the Eagles will actually be shooting 1-on-1 the rest of the way. Only 5 fouls called so far against the Eagles, so a lot more fouls here in the second half, and much more, I guess, a slower pace, you'd say. The game's a little more choppy, a few more turnovers, a few more fouls, but the Eagles have been able to pretty much maintain about a 7 to 9 point lead for the most part in the second half.
Yep, 13-13 here in the second half, so Springfield not been able to make up any ground. But you're right, Mary Washington's not been able to kind of get those live ball run-out turnovers. I mean, the turnovers and, like I said, the whistles have all kind of brought the game to a stop, so it's not had as much flow to it as it did in the first half. So that certainly changed a little bit there, and I think that probably is to the Springfield's advantage. That's happened, but Springfield's doing a good job of just hanging around with kind of all that sort of happened with the turnovers and the fouls early on, and then Reister making some threes. They're down 9. I mean, they're certainly not out of it, but it's just at some point in time, if you're Springfield, you think you got to make a run to really make put Mary Washington back on their heels a little bit and get some stops and get a little bit of run of your own.
So out of the timeout, Springfield will have possession. They'll inbound against pressure, and the Eagles really. They trap off this first pass. If they don't get the trap, then they pretty much fall back in their half court. Inbound comes to Peretra. He rotates it in the backcourt, back in the hands of Martin. Martin right side to McKenna. Cross-court pass to Peretra. Back out it comes to Martin. Thought about the 3. Right side gives it up to McKenna. Back it comes to Martin. Handoff goes to McKenna. Back out to Sinkowitz. Right side McKenna. Didn't shoot the 3. Drives instead. Forces it out to Peretra. And that's a missed shot on a perimeter cleared by the Eagles. They had a couple clean looks, and I'm not sure if Larry Peretra is the one that went shooting that 3. Top of the key in the hands of Taylor Johnson, offensive end for the Eagles. Rotates it to Holly. Holly will back it out and reset the offense. They'll start with Dylan Farinet, high ball screen, top of the key. Right side now in the hands of Taylor Johnson. Johnson bounce pass just off the high post to Farinet. He'll face up with 10 on the shot clock. Cross-court pass to Scott. They set the screen. 3 out of that left corner, no good. Good block out by the Pride. They control the rebound. Quickly to Martin. Martin into the front court. Works his way to the left elbow. Now backs it out. Peretra thought about the 3. Gives it up instead to Sinkowitz. Back to Martin. 22 on the shot clock. Martin swings it to Peretra. Back to Martin right side. Wide open 3 by Martin. Back rim, no good. Reister clears the rebound.
Hesitated there. I mean, not really a 3-point shooter, but he kind of hesitated on that open look.
And I think the Eagles are doing a good job defensively. They'll give the three-point try to Peretra and Martin, just shutting off McKenna and Sinkowitz. Underneath, shot blocked, but they'll call the foul. That's going to be called on Larry Peretra. And it'll be a two-shot opportunity for the Eagles in the form of Taylor Johnson, who goes to the free throw line.
Jim really starting to fill in here.
Yeah, the Randolph-Macon Yellow Jacket fans have begun to fill in. We mentioned this is a sellout here on campus of Randolph-Macon. First ball game, 10 minutes left to play here. The Eagles push their lead to 10 now as Taylor Johnson makes the first of two free throws. 51-41. They put that foul up on the board against Nick McKenna, his second, the team's eighth. Tim Swenson checks out of the lineup for the Pride. And you mentioned Swenson coming in, averaging about a double-double. He was in foul trouble in the first half. Really hasn't been that much of a factor for Springfield in this ball game.
I picked up his third very quickly in the second half and had to go back to the bench for a while, too.
Both free throws are good.
But I must wonder if, with Mayor Washington not have as much size, if Springfield having a little bit of a smaller lineup is to their benefit as well.
Martin still working in the backcourt, met at the midcourt stripe by Mora. Keep the dribble alive in the front court. They'll feed it along the baseline to Robbie Burke. Has it poked away by Mora. Out it comes, tip to Sinkowitz. Controlled by the Pride, still in the front court. Right side to McKenna. Back at it comes to Martin. Martin looks to penetrate down the lane. He goes, kicks it off. They're wide open for Sinkowitz. That's back rim, no good. Got a clean look for a good three-point shooter. Couldn't get it to go. Mora fights his way out of traffic with the ball. Front court, circles back with the dribble. Thought he had Scott for a moment in that left corner, but pulls it back out to set the offense. 9:30 on the game clock. Mora picks up the dribbles, swings it left side to Scott. Top of the key. He'll feed it in the hands of Yochtheimer. Back at it comes to Mora. Right wing, it's Taylor Johnson on the dribble. 7 on the shot clock. Scott rotates it back to Mora. 4 on the shot clock. Mora looks to penetrate. Draws contact, and they're going to wave it off. Say it's an offensive foul. Dennis Ashcraft calls an offensive foul, much to the displeasure of Coach Wood for Mary Washington. And you knew that deep in the shot clock, Mora was going to have to try to create something. They're going to say he lowered that shoulder, and that'll be an offensive foul.
I guess I didn't have a good look of it there.
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice finish out of him as the shot clock's winding down.
I thought he'd gotten past the defender, gotten both of his shoulders past the defender, but not our call to make, and that'll be his second foul of the team's sixth. So break for the Pride as we go head to the 9-minute mark here in the second half. Martin front court. Chased there by Moore. Bounce pass high post. Back door not there. And said Burke spins, takes it to the hole, and he gets the layup to go. They give him the option. The back door pass wasn't there. Burke puts it on the deck, takes it to the hole, and the Pride pulled it away back to within 9. Moore again into the front court. Looks to slow it down. They overload that left side. Now Scott flashes right. Double high screen at the high post. Flashing out Taylor Johnson, 3 on the way. Rattles off the mark. Sinkowitz with the rebound. Nearly stolen. Gets it to Martin. Martin front court. Behind the back dribble. Top of the key. Waits for some help. Sinkowitz top of the key. Right side to McKenna. McKenna back to Martin. Martin looks to penetrate. Down the lane. They'll call the foul on Mora. And that will be now 7 fouls against the Eagles. Now it looks like Mora's going to go to the bench with his third. Holly will check back in. Meanwhile, number 24, Sean Martin, the 6'3 senior for the Pride, will go to the free throw line with a 1-on-1 opportunity. First free throw's good. Martin at the line to shoot his second. A little bit of foul trouble now for the Eagles as well. Their starting point guard has 3. We haven't seen DeJuan Daniel in a while. Martin makes both his free throws. Daniel on the bench with 4. Both free throws go, and the Pride are back to within 7. It's 52-45. 8:15 to play here in the second half. Holly now at the point. Ball screen, top of the key set by Johnson. Reister off the curl. Floater down the lane, and that rattles home. That's a tough shot. Going left, finishes with the right hand, showing that he's more than just a three-point shooter.
Right, and one of the first touches he's had in a while on the offensive end.
Martin front court, crossing over, working against Holly down the lane. He goes, misses the driving layup. Nice block out by Holly. Holly gets the rebound and looks to push. Front court, right side to Scott. Back at it comes to Holly. He'll penetrate. Back it comes to Scott. 3 on the way, right corner. Long, no good. Offensive rebound for the Eagles. Holly will fire the 3 out of the left corner, and that's good. That's twice in the second half. They've made you pay with the 3 off an offensive rebound, and that pushes the lead back to 12. Offensive end, Peretra will fire the 3 top of the key, and that rattles home. Clean look gets it to go. And this whistle blows, and they're going to be Dennis Ashcraft, one of the officials, directing a little bit of traffic.
Warning, maybe, because he's gone to both benches now.
I think it's a warning. I think maybe as Peretra made that 3, maybe a little conversation going down the court between he and Dylan Farranet. But as it stands right now, 7:17 to play, second half. It's 57-48 in favor of the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. Both teams will go to their bench, and you can see Rod Wood asking for a little bit of an explanation from the officiating crew.
Yeah, I really didn't see what happened. There's a bunch of bodies as whistles after that 3 started blowing, going the other direction.
And they don't put a foul up on the board, but you can see Dennis Ashcraft and Kevin Ricks down here at the opposite free throw line.
And they went to both benches, so interesting situation there. But it certainly, Springfield, I think, has been pretty frustrated with how the officiating has gone for most of this ball game. But part of that's just been how aggressive Mary Washington's been. They've not really, Mary Washington's been the more aggressive team, and you're going to get things to go your way that time when that's how you're playing. But certainly just a break and play under 8 minutes here, 57-48 for Mary Washington with the lead. And again, another time, I think the third time in this half, where Springfield's made a shot and you think, okay, well maybe they're going to start a little run here, and boom, they come back the other way and answer it with a 3. And
twice in the second half off of an offensive rebound as well.
Right, 2 of the 3 times of that. The other time, Johnson, nice 3-pointer there. So just see, they've been making enough to keep them at arm's length, and that's what Springfield's got to hope that maybe they just get a little bit tired and their shots don't start going down for them, and they can get to the free throw line and just kind of scrap their way and give themselves a chance at the end. But they just, right now, Springfield just not getting enough stops consistently enough to make up this difference.
So quick game reset, 7:17 on the game clock. It's 57-48, 9-point lead for the Eagles. 17 fouls against Mary Washington, 8 against Springfield. So both teams in the bonus right now. Possession arrow on the held ball belongs to Mary Washington. Mora off the inbound, working with a dribble out high, top of the key. Swings it right side to Daniel, who checked back in the lineup with his 4 fouls. Out high, working against Kilday. Behind the screen, Daniel with the dribble live. Gives it up on the perimeter to Yoxtheimer. Left side now to Taylor Johnson. 12 on the shot clock. Johnson looks to penetrate out to Yoxtheimer. Thought about the 3. Instead gives it up to Mora. 7 on the shot clock. Mora down the lane. Looking for Riester. Riester off the curl. Floater has his shot blocked and controlled by Martin. Came to the right side. Good transition defense. They get the block and pride into the front court with possession.
Yeah, nice stop there for the Springfield. Really did a good job of limiting any penetration there.
Sienkiewicz to Kilday. On the perimeter now to Swenson. They rotate it right side to Martin underneath. An easy 2. That's a screen. They roll Swenson to the bucket, and it's a 7-point ball game. He set the screen to the top of the key, rolled to the right side, wide open for 2.
Yeah, just Mary Washington kind of got caught with their heads down there. You wonder if they're playing a little bit slower tempo, if they may be getting a little tired here.
Mora into the front court, dribble live left side. Works his way to the top of the key. Backdoor cut, and that's an easy 2. They find the backdoor cut this time for Taylor Johnson. And for the Pride, you just can't give up an easy bucket like that after you get one on your own the other end.
Exactly, man. It was just as easy as the one that they had there. First time we've seen Mary Washington really go backdoor, but very effective.
Martin, top of the key, finds Burke. Burke rotates to the Sienkiewicz. Back at it comes number 34, that's Kilday. Kilday to Sienkiewicz, left side, 16 on the shot clock. Kilday top of the key, working there against Daniel. Underneath, they drop it down. That's going to be last touch by Mary Washington. Tough pass along the baseline. You can see that was Kilday trying to feed it to Swenson. It'll stay with the Pride with 10 on the shot clock. Daniel and Yoxtheimer check out for the Eagles. Farranet checks back in. The trigger man from the baseline looks like that is Martin. Feeds it to Kilday. Kilday backs his man down, spins, tries to get to the backboard, and then turns it over. Nearly lost on the baseline. It's picked off by Mora. Eagles into the front court. With the dribble live, Mora working there against Martin. 5:21 in the game clock. Handoff on the perimeter goes to Taylor Johnson. 9-point lead for Mary Washington. It's 59-50. Mora with a dribble. Now he's got a mismatch working out high against Swenson. They switched on the screen. Opposite. Skip pass goes to Farranet. Back at it comes to Mora. Left side. Mora drives baseline, drops it for Scott, and Scott with a finish. Great find by Mora. He took it left baseline, just flipped it in the middle for Scott. Scott with an easy finger roll to put his team up by 11.
Yes, I think Springfield's got to do a better job of defending the rim there. The big guy in the middle.
Sienkiewicz with a three opposite way, and he gets it to go. Quick timeout called for by the Pride. Sienkiewicz has not gotten many looks here in the second half, but gets that one to go, and that's a big three as it pulls his team back to an 8 with 4:43 to play. Mora on the offensive end for the Eagles, that's got to be about 12 assists for him. I know he had 8 in the first half, and just a great find from that baseline.
Yeah, that was number 12, and he's going up. I mean, it helps that he's just explosive steps. He's able to get by guys a little bit broader shoulders, and he's starting, and he knows where his teammates are going to be. He knows where to turn and look for to make the pass, and they're there and making plays. But on the other end, I mean, Springfield talked about Mary Washington making some big shots. Every time Mary Washington seems like they want to make a run. Now Springfield's come down, hit a couple threes there to kind of keep them in the ball game. Now that one cuts it to 8 with 4:43 to go.
And Sienkiewicz shoots about 46% from beyond the three-point line. Had made 50 coming into the ball game, and
Springfield's made 9 threes in this contest. Mary Washington has made 10.
So Taylor Johnson will inbound. No backcourt pressure being shown by the Pride. They've really gone with a half-court man-to-man for the entire ball game. Moore operating at the point, takes his time, clears the timeline. He'll set the ball screen in the front court by Scott. Now he rotates away. They feed Johnson. Back out it comes to Mora. Mora looks to penetrate. Uses the high ball screen, works his way to the free throw line. Back out it comes to Scott. He'll fire the three, and that's good. Now Scott was the screener, then bounces back to the perimeter, steps out and drains the three.
That's tough. You know, probably the tallest guy on the court for Mary Washington. He's got the ability to step out and make one too.
Kilday front court. He'll use the ball screen from Swenson, then rotate it to Martin. Martin looks to penetrate right side, and that's going to be an offensive foul. He turned the corner, faked the handoff to Kilday, and Farranet in the lane with 3 fouls draws the charge.
Yeah, lowers his shoulder. I mean, it's more so that than a charge, but he used his kind of lowered it to create some room there. And Farranet even getting down there and wiping up with the towel the floor. I mean,
and that's the
doing everything.
Second charge he's drawn underneath that basket. And you're right, picks up the towel, wipes the floor, and
that's a
inbounds
fourth on
the ball.
Martin. Yeah, 4th foul on Martin, the point guard for Springfield.
Martin now with 4, under 4 minutes to play. Mora front court, gives it up on the perimeter. That's Taylor Johnson with a dribble. Back at it comes to Scott. Scott guarded on the perimeter by Swenson. Handoff goes back to Mora. 15 on the shot clock. Mora will pull it back out. Mora with a dribble, live, 8 on the shot clock. Back to Scott. He'll fire the three top of the key, and that's good. Swenson couldn't get to him. And what a shooter Scott has proven to be off the Mary Washington bench. Pushes the lead to 14, 67-53. Opposite end, McKenna fires the jumper. That's off the mark. Swenson offensive rebound. Couldn't get it to go, but it'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2. Big offensive rebound. I think he had someone hanging on his arm as he tries to go up with media timeout with 3:15 to play. 67-53 in favor of the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. Out of the timeout, the Pride will be shooting 2, but you're getting offensive firepower off the Eagle bench in the form of Asa Scott, the 6'2 freshman from Douglas Freeman High School.
Go Rebels. But, yeah, I mean, he's got that. I mean, he's made 13 threes for him this year, shot 43%, so he's just another one of those guys that can go out there and make them for you. And I think Mary Washington's had 5 different guys that have made three-pointers for them, including Scott with 3 now. I mean, so that's tough to defend when you're able to penetrate and make the defense collapse like that, and then boom, kick it back out. That's what we talked about, having a little bit of a mismatch maybe with the size. I mean, Scott, their tallest player on the floor for Mary Washington points, and he's only listed at 6'2", and then they've had Swenson trying to run out there in 6'7". It's going to be easier for Scott to maneuver around these screens to get open, and for a guy like Swenson to try to chase him around on the perimeter. So that's something Mary Washington did a nice job of their advantage here. And
Mary Washington did a nice job on the offensive end. It's sort of a pick and pop kind of offense. The last 2 times, Scott, who has made the 3, he has been the screener at about the free throw line, and then as he sets the screen and then rotates back out the perimeter, they find him for an open 3. And the lack of size on the offense and defensive end, for that matter, for Mary Washington really hasn't mattered for them. They rebound effectively enough, but they really make you chase them on the offensive end.
Right. You're absolutely right about it. They've done a good job negating any disadvantage they've had there in this ball game. Done a really nice job of it. And it's helped that shots have gone down too. That's always makes everything look better. But they've done a great job of that.
Tim Swenson, the 6'7" senior from Millbury, Massachusetts, at the free throw line to shoot 2 for the Pride. First one long off the back rim, no good. The foul went up on the board against Dylan Fairnet. That was his third. 18 fouls now against the Eagles, 9 against the Pride. Second free throw on its way. That's also no good. Battle for the rebound. Chased down in the corner by Reister. Gets it to his point guard, Mora. The Eagles will push it into the front court. Clears the timeline with the right-handed dribble, met there by McKenna. Down the right side, out it comes to Scott. Scott with an advantage on the perimeter, being chased there by Swenson, forcing the 6'7" player to play defense on the perimeter. They'll rotate it back to Mora. Ball screen set by Scott. Mora down the left side, underneath, and he finishes with the right hand. Doesn't take it to the bucket often, but this time I think they're looking for him to pass. He finishes at the rim, and it's a 16-point lead for Mary Washington. Martin, opposite way, has his pocket picked by Fairnet. Fairnet just took it right away from him as he starts his move to the bucket.
Yep, they had nothing more. Just he wanted it more. He took it from him.
Mary Washington into the front court. Mora working against McKenna. Drives baseline, keeps the dribble alive. Underneath, opposite to Scott. Gets it back. Back out on the perimeter now to Taylor Johnson. 2:12 on the game clock. 13 on the shot clock. It's a 16-point lead for the Eagles. Back then reverse it to Mora. 5 now on the shot clock. Ball screen set by Scott. Mora will fire the three, top of the key. That's back rim, no good. Loose ball chased down and controlled by the Eagles.
Got to get that at the Springfield there.
Long rebound in the hands of Taylor Johnson. Johnson now with a fresh 35. Under 2 minutes to play. And Burke will give the foul. Robbie Burke will give the foul. Actually, yeah, it looks like it'll be a foul against Burke. It'll send Taylor Johnson to the free throw line. And that'll be the 10th foul against the Pride. So it'll be a 2-shot opportunity for Taylor Johnson.
With a minute 44 left, is Mary Washington, remember, they're only their second appearance in the NCAA tournament. They lost about 10 years ago, I believe, to Alvernia. Lost to Alvernia back in 2003. So this would be their first win in NCAA tournament, their program's history. So,
and we should have Coach Rod Wood on at the half for us for the second ball game tonight. Taylor Johnson misses the first free throw. We mentioned Rod is an alumnus here of Randolph-Macon, same class as me, 1985.
But not nearly as distinguished, Marty.
Yeah. He's got a little more hair than I do over there, but maybe looking a little sharper there on the sidelines. But he was our starting point guard for 3 years. Rod led his team to 3 different NCAA tournament appearances at the Division II level here for Randolph-Macon as Taylor Johnson makes his second. Mora will check out, replaced on the floor by Marcellus Holly. It's now a 17-point lead, 70-53 with 1:41 to play here second half. Sienkiewicz on the perimeter.
Yep.
Gives it up to McKenna. Not a good foul on the defensive end for the Eagles. I think they're going to call it against Taylor Johnson. It'll stop the clock and send number 25, Nick McKenna, to the free throw line.
It's interesting. This holds on. I think if you're watching these results, if you're maybe St. Mary's or Christopher Newport, the 3rd or 4th ranked teams in the Capital, and this is the 4th place team in the NEWMAC, you're kind of wondering if league maybe doesn't get as much respect as it should have.
Free throw, first one is good. That's number 25, McKenna, at the free throw line. Getting ready to shoot his second. And you're right, I think the Capital, it was always a good league, but when you add Christopher Newport to that league, it becomes a very good league at that point in time. The way Wesley played this way, the way Coach Wood has his team playing for Mary Washington, and certainly St. Mary's has been really the leader of that conference the last couple of years. Second free throw goes for Nick McKenna. The Pride will show some backcourt pressure. Trying to trap Moore. They get it to Reister. Reister back to Moore, still in the backcourt. Clears the timeline. He'll draw contact against Sienkiewicz. Moore goes hard into the table, just down a ways from us. And Dom Moore will go to the free throw line. Not really a scoring point guard, but certainly has orchestrated a heck of an offensive performance here for the Eagles. Last time we checked, he had 12 assists in this ball game.
He's got 14 now. I think that's the most I can remember the 9 years of doing ball games here. That's the most I've ever seen. Knocks this one down. That's his 8th point. Gets a couple more free throws. Double-double. Might be the first point assist double-double that I remember ever doing. But he's done an impressive job of running the show for them offensively. And whoever wins the second ball game is going to have to find out a way to limit his dribble penetration.
Second free throw, no good. Rebounded by the Pride. Outlet comes to Martin. Martin quickly into the front court. Handoff goes to Sinkowitz. They'll rotate to McKenna. Back to Sinkowitz, right side. He'll fire the three off the right wing. Front rim, no good. Scott drops down for the rebound. Gets it in the hands of Johnson. Johnson circles back to Scott, now to Mora. Approaching 1 minute to play. Mora clears the timeline, draws a trap. They rotate it opposite to Taylor Johnson. Cross-court pass back to Mora as we go under 1 minute to play. 71-55 in favor of the Eagles. And Farranet gets the bucket to go and draws the foul. They spread the floor, and Dylan Farranet takes it hard to the hole, finishes with the left hand, and he'll shoot one. And really, Mary Washington set the tone for this ball game right from the very beginning. We talked at half about the amount of energy they came out with and had a lead by 9 at the half and really just never let that go. I think the closest that the Pride got was maybe 6 in the second half as Farranet rattles home the free throw.
I think they got up to 5, 46-41, but then Johnson made a big three and pushed it back. I think the biggest thing, Springfield had a 13-11 lead, and I believe Mary Washington went on a 17-0 run. That was when Springfield had about 8 turnovers and 12 possessions, and that's when Mary Washington really took control of the ball game.
Martin into the front court, had it stripped away and tipped, controlled by Swenson. Swenson has it batted away. Loose ball and a held ball, and that'll go over to Mary Washington. So with 45 seconds left on the game clock, the Eagles still playing well on the defensive end. They come up with a steal. They've got a 19-point lead. Mora checks back in, directing traffic as he does. And Farranet will inbound in the backcourt. Working against pressure. Flashed into the ball, it's Taylor Johnson. They look to double. Step through and he'll draw the foul. Step through the double team. Foul's going to be called against Nick Sinkowitz. And it looks like the Pride for Springfield College will finish their season here tonight at Crenshaw. Should fall to 20-8 overall as Taylor Johnson works his way to the free throw line. Meanwhile, the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington will raise their record to 23-5. They'll move on to play the winner of tonight's second ball game. Randolph-Macon College, the home team, playing against the Bulldogs from DeSales. First free throw was good. Made by Taylor Johnson, pushes the lead to 20. 41.6 on the game clock. Impressive showing here for the Eagles of University of Mary Washington. Very good team. Be a tough out for whoever advances in the second ball game.
Oh, absolutely. They, bring the effort defensively and knock down enough shots like they've done tonight. You're right. I mean, that's they've done an impressive job of making up for the lack of size.
Farranet gets a big hug from Rod Wood over the sideline as he comes to the sideline. Martin fires a three and rattles it home for the Pride. No timeout called. Mary Washington quickly inbounds it into the hands of Reister. Reister races into the front court. Shot clock and game clock nearly in sync, about 0.3 differential. So for the most part, they will not have to shoot the ball. Mora clapping, trying to get it back from Reister. Instead, they rotate it to Taylor Johnson. Johnson will hold it near the midcourt stripe and draw contact. And that's going to be a foul called against Sean Martin. And if that is on Martin, that should be 5. As a senior will foul out of his final college ball game. 15.9 on the game clock. Checking in for Martin will be Quinn McKenna. Meanwhile, for the Eagles, it looks like it'll be number 25, Taylor Johnson, going back to the free throw line. Reister checks out for the Eagles, gets a big hug from his teammates on the sideline.
What's been impressive for him is that, he hasn't had to do as much in the second half. They've really done a nice job of taking him away, but other guys have stepped up and made shots for them.
First free throw for Johnson rattles home. And you can see the official motioning for the substitution come in. Number 10, Isaac Blue will check in, replacing Marcellus Holly. Taylor Johnson at the free throw line to shoot his second. Second free throw is good. Tyler Snow, number 40, now will check in for the University of Mary Washington. They'll replace their starting point guard, Dom Mora. 78-58 in favor of the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. Inbound into the front court. McKenna works his way to the left elbow. Gives it up on the perimeter to Sienkiewicz. Back at it comes to number 34, Kilday. 3 on the way. Off the front rim, no good. Rebounded by the Eagles. And they'll hold it in the backcourt in the hands of John Yoxtheimer. And the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington will move on to the second round. Impressive 20-point victory, 78-58 in the first ball game here from Crenshaw.
Yeah, really, like I said, really hit him in the mouth from the get-go. Got up 7-0 right out the chute. You push it up to 17. I believe the largest lead in the first half. Got up to actually 21 at one point in time there, but I think of 14 in the first half, and then just kind of wore out Springfield. I thought Springfield just kind of ran out of gas at the late. Just so that happens when you get yourself down and behind and having to fight from behind the whole way. And it's an impressive effort. I mean, if 3-pointers this time of year, that's kind of the great equalizer. If you got a team that can get hot from beyond the arc, you can go on a run. And they certainly seem comfortable playing in this gym. And if they're able to bring that energy and effort again tomorrow, they held Springfield ended up 41% shooting from the floor and only made 9 2-point field goals the entire time. That's going to be tough to beat. Even though there's minus 10 on the board, you get in there and disrupt and create the turnovers they did in Springfield at 19. You're going to be a tough opponent. So
why don't you give the folks at home just a quick rundown of the stat sheet before we sign off and have to log on for our second ball game?
Sure. Let's see. Springfield, 41% shooting from the floor, 19 of 46, including 10 of 24 from beyond the arc, 41%, 10 of 13 from the free throw line, 77% there. They did win the battle of the boards 35-25, but lost the turnover battle 19-6 to Mary Washington. Springfield was led in scoring by Sean Martin with 16 points on 5 of 11 shooting, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. He also had 9 assists and 3 rebounds, so a good all-around ball game for him. Nick Sienkiewicz next with 12 points for Springfield. Nobody else in double figures, but they were followed up by Robbie Burke with 7, Simon Kilday with 6, Nick McKenna with 8, Larry Pietro with 5, and Tim Swinson with 4 points and 7 rebounds. The Mary Washington shot 46% from the floor, 25 of 54, including 12 of 29 from beyond the arc, 41%, and 16 of 20 from the free throw line. Mentioned got out rebounded by 10, but made up for it, plus 13 in the turnover battle. They were led in scoring by Bradley Reister with 22 points. He was 8 of 12 shooting, including 6 made three-pointers. Also in double figures, Taylor Johnson with 12 and Asa Scott with 11. Also, let's see, for Mary Washington, 9 points from DeJohn Daniel, their senior, and then 8 points and 14 assists and 5 rebounds for the senior point guard, Don Moore. An excellent ball game out of him. Dylan Farronette, 5 points and 4 rebounds. And a couple big charges there in the second half. Marcellus Holly, 3 points for Mary Washington. John Yoxtheimer with 5. John Litkenhouse with 3 for the Eagles as well. In terms of made threes, Bradley Richter had 6. Asa Scott had 3. Taylor Johnson, Marcellus Holly, and John Yoxtheimer all with 1 apiece. So, like I mentioned, 5 guys able to step out and make 3-pointers from Eagles. That can be tough to defend.
So the final score in the first ball game, 78-58, a victory for the Eagles of the University of Mary Washington over the Pride of Springfield College. They will advance to tomorrow night's 7 o'clock championship ball game of the, actually a second round ball game here at Crenshaw. The second ball game tonight will be featuring the homesteading Yellow Jackets of Randolph-Macon College against the Bulldogs of DeSales University. Andrew and I will be back with you in about 15 minutes to start our pregame for that second ball game, so we'll talk to you then.